Oh, you know what I love? Sports. Love sports. Sports. When it comes to Texas A&M, where are you getting this information? Let me tell you.
Start early this morning. That's how I want to roll, OB, because last night the injury report came out. It is on. Hello. It was on. I didn't even touch it. Interesting. OB, as I was trying to say. The injury report came out last night, and we saw a little bit of news that caught people by surprise.
Yeah, I was surprised.
I don't want to say I was surprised by it because I had heard the week prior that he was, dealing with it, but I was surprised that it was brought up again this week. Injury report, Connor Wigman is questionable, and the way Billy wrote on the boards was the very definition of what questionable means. We just don't know. We should know later on today. But that certainly makes things very interesting here, OB.
It does. I'm trying to wrap my head around all this because from what I understand, if he is hurt, it was something that happened in the Notre Dame game.
Right.
Then he came back and he played against
McNeese
and actually played well, threw the ball well.
Right.
But now he's hurt again. And I wonder, and I don't know this, obviously this would be the case. I wonder if Mike Elko's saying, well, I don't know. Do I prepare for DJ Lagway? Do I prepare for Graham Mertz? I got to prepare. Why don't I just throw something out there and make Billy Napier say, do I prepare for Connor Wigman or do I prepare for whoever's the backup?
I think because you have to put these injury reports and you have to be factual, the fact of the matter is he's questionable because he does have an injury that he has to see how he feels. I do expect him to play tomorrow. That would be my expectation. I haven't been told any insider information on that. That's just my expectation based on the ability to play last week, unless it got worse during the McNeese game where he did run the ball pretty effectively.
Yeah, he ran the ball effectively, threw the ball well, showed arm strength. So didn't look like anything was bothering him in that game. Now, maybe something happened in practice. We're talking about practice.
By the way, it's TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. So let's play out the scenario.
Okay.
If Connor can't go tomorrow,
yeah,
and it's Marcel Reed.
Yeah.
Before the show, you told me we've seen Marcel do it against teams that, like against Oklahoma State. He looked really, really good.
Yeah, and, it just seems to me, based on other games, including last year and, this year, that Oklahoma State's defense and Florida's might be kind of the same ilk. Maybe Florida is a little bit better, but it's not like, it's like, what is it, the last 6 of the last 7, major conference teams that they played, they've given up like 460 yards or more.
Right.
And the one that didn't was Florida State with the backup quarterback, right? So, and we're talking about A&M with a backup quarterback. But, maybe because I've seen him play well in that situation last year, maybe I should expect him to be okay this time if he plays.
But let's do the but part of it. The but, if that were the case, he'd be making his very first start ever, very first SEC start ever. Also on the road in a tough environment. Also, A&M hasn't won on the road since 1984.
Yes, but my rebuttal to your but is that he's actually would have had some time to prepare to actually play, whereas last year he in the
Drinking
Texas
water,
Bowl,
what? I'm in.
Yeah, what was it? Henderson got hurt on like the first or second play of the game he's done, and all of a sudden, hey, by the way, you're playing. Get ready.
Yeah. Look, so would it change if he's the quarterback? Does it change how you'd pick this game?
It might. It might. But I do think that regardless of whoever the quarterback is, A&M's going to have to run the football effectively.
Yes.
And so in that regard, maybe Marcel makes you a more dangerous running team in the same regard that DJ Lagway's presence and his mobility, it's more than mobility,
right,
makes Florida a more dangerous running team.
All right, let's run our miles. 3 things we want to see, brought to you by the Brazos Running Company, your local Aggie-owned specialty running store where you can find Brooks on Hoka shoes, located at Century Square below the Star Cinema Grill in College Station. OB, I'm going to give you 3 things I want to see, if I remember, all right?
Let's hear them.
I want to see Cotter.
Yeah, that was the first thing I would say.
But I also want to see Marcel Reed.
Okay, you want to see them both?
But I don't want to see it the way Florida's going to do it. I want to see it to where A&M has got a comfortable lead in the fourth quarter.
Like last week.
And Marcel has the ability to get more reps for when we do need him, because in the SEC, you will need a backup quarterback. So that's the first thing I want to see. Second thing I want to see, can we shut down Graham Mertz immediately? Oh, and by the way, not only shut down Graham Mertz immediately, can we shut down DJ Lagway the moment he comes into the game? You want to get ahead early. You do not want to give that team any hope. Squash hope. So defensively, shut down the Graham Mertz experiment, shut down the DJ Lagway experiment, and then in the second quarter be up 14-0 where they're feeling like they have to try things and it doesn't work because our defense is sitting back going after them. Third thing I want to see, a non-offensive touchdown.
No, those are always fun.
I don't care how. Kick return, punt return, pick six, fumble, scoop, score, whatever. I would like, just on the road, give me a little bit of offensive grace by giving me 7 points the difficult way.
Well, with the amount of times that they probably project to punt, Terry Bussey might have several opportunities to bring a punt back.
He's not taking a bus. He's taking a jet to the house.
Let's hope so.
What are your 3 things?
I like that bus, Jess.
Now, that's something you would say, I think.
Yeah, first of all, I'm with you on Connor. Yeah. No offense to Marcel or Jalen for that.
But I do want to see Marcel. I do want to see him.
I want to see Connor in the starting lineup. I want to see that A&M run defense play the way we always expected them to, and contain that running game, which starts with Montreal Johnson.
He's good.
Don't give up big plays. If they're going to have any success, make it working for it, not just huge plays. You've got Florida probably has more that we've seen more big play ability than A&M. Johnson went 70 yards for a touchdown against Miami, so squelch that. And then I said I want to see A&M run the football. I want to see them just dominate their offensive line. That is a suspect Florida defensive line, even with the 450-pound. That's right, 450-pound. What's his name? Watson. Is it Cameron Watson? I can't remember his first name. 450-pound nose guard. Just run a lot of off-tackle plays and make that guy have to run laterally. By the fourth quarter, you might be able to push him around by the fourth quarter.
I don't think so. We're in the cool zone, by the way. Let's go around the room and say hi to the people. If you want to be a part of the conversation this morning, you can call us or you can text us 979-693-1150.
450 pounds, right?
What's that?
You bench press about 450. Right?
No, I don't think I ever have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm more in the 285 range.
285, okay.
Yeah. And it's actually been probably a year since I've tried that. Okay. So it may be like 105 right now.
You'd be able to push him around in the fourth quarter.
No chance. Let's say hi to Nick Savage behind the glass. Actually, no, before we say hi to Nick, hold on for one quick second. We haven't given away the coffee.
That's true.
TexAgs coffee. Beat the hell out of the mornings by going to texags.com/coffee. I say texture number 15.
I was going to, okay, that's fine.
Were you going to say what?
I was going to say number 11, because that 11th road game is when A&M is finally going to win.
All right.
It's been a 10-game losing streak on the road, but it ends at 11.
Nick, which one, 11 or 15?
11. I like that. I like that reasoning, OB.
So the 11th texture, 979-693-1150, to say the word coffee will get themselves a free bag of TexAgs coffee. Mr. Savage, talk to me, buddy.
Something I want to see that would be nice is maybe let's see a 100-yard wide receiver in this game. I think that would be a big deal. I can't off the top of my head think of it, but the season high can't be. It's about 70 yards, I think. Cyrus Allen this past game had about 74 yards or so. So why not get a 100-yard receiver, maybe a big play in there? I think that would be good to see. And that would be a good sign for this A&M offense for sure.
So he wants to see a 100-yard receiver in this game. We haven't seen it. Well, I guess Cyrus Allen, as he mentioned, got there to 74 this past game. But Do you expect a 100-yard receiver?
I mean, Florida has they've had issues in the secondary.
Yep.
So it's certainly possible, but if there is rain, an issue, that might be problematic.
Yeah. The
even
latest.
though Jay Walker has had several 100-yard games, so maybe it's time to get another one.
Yep. All right, let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. McKinley Polanski, good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all?
We're wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to watch the game tomorrow.
Yeah, talk to us. What's going on over there?
Yes. It is week 3 of college football, and the Aggies are traveling to Gainesville, Florida, to take on Florida tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. It is the SEC opener for both schools, which will help us give us a better look at the potential and future for both the teams this season. Texas A&M volleyball goes 4-0 into the Invitational Tournament this weekend. The Aggie volleyball team hosts the 7th annual Texas A&M Invitational this weekend, welcoming Temple, UNH, and Louisiana to Reed Arena September 13th through the 15th. And SEC schedule was announced for Aggie baseball.
Uh-oh.
The schedule features 5 home series at Olson Field at Bluebell Park, starting with the Aggies SEC opener against Alabama March 14th through the 16th.
And they go to Austin what weekend? Do you have that there? It's in April, right?
I do. It is April 25th through the 27th.
Did I miss it? Because I was looking at it. Did I not see Arkansas on there?
Do you have the whole schedule on there for us, McKinley?
I do.
Where's the Razorbacks?
They are hosting Alabama March 14th through the 16th, Kentucky the 28th through the 30th, South Carolina April 11th through 13th, LSU May 2nd through the 4th, Missouri May 9th through the 11th. They're going to Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Arkansas the 17th through 19th.
I did see it. Because you got to play Arkansas.
Got to play Arkansas. Got to play the Hogs.
Especially after the way you beat them last year. I like beating Arkansas.
I like that too. OB, a couple things we didn't bring up because we started with Connor, but there's some names out of the lineup out. When you look at the injury report, it looks like Tyreek Chappelle, Trey Jones, both out.
Yeah.
Musical chairs are in the DBs.
Tyreek is especially concerning.
Yeah, he's been playing well.
The kid from Florida, Hill,
Jaden Hill.
That, from what I understand, was one of the few bright spots on their defense last year. I got a friend that follows Florida very closely, a reporter, and he was telling me that actually they thought Hill was a pretty good nickel guy. So plug him in. Let's see.
Yeah, we're at that point of the season. It's only 2 weeks in, but unfortunately the injuries start adding up. And you could look at a team like LSU that has a laundry list of players that are injured, some for the season. You can look at Florida, who they've got a bunch of players.
They've got a bunch of guys out.
They do. This is I'm sorry, I'm at the point. They need to win this game regardless of the quarterback situation. They just need to end the bleeding. Stop the bleeding from losing on the road. Stop having these quarterback discussions. Well, if we had our starting quarter. No, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Just win freaking games.
That's right. There's no excuses. And, Florida has significant guys out, like Eugene Wilson.
Yeah.
Supposedly. Their best receiver, plus some guys in the secondary.
I think 3 of their starters are expected to, or could be out, I should say.
Right, and we've just said that they've had issues in the secondary, so now you're going to take starters out. There's no excuses. No excuses, just go out and win. It's been ridiculous. If they don't win this game, they will go more than 3 years without a road win. Because the last time they won on the road was October 16th at Missouri in 2021.
Yep.
And if my recollection of the schedule is right, the next time they're on the road is October 19th at Mississippi State, I think.
Yeah, you can't. You've got to find a way.
Well, the first thing they got to do, which they haven't done, or they've done too often in this skid that they're in, is you got to eliminate the plays that you hurt yourself.
Right.
South Carolina down 17 in 5 minutes.
Mississippi State, all these games.
Yeah, it's over and over.
It's over and over. The bottom line is find a way to get it done. I don't care how you get it done. If you win by a safety, you win by 1 point, you win by 30 points. Just end this. And I think the most important part of this all, OB, is the fact that this fan base needs it.
We all need it. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
When I heard that some of the programs that have similar losing streaks on the road are like some of the most feudal programs in the country, like
Right.
Akron, and A&M is being grouped in with Akron.
Don't get grouped in with Akron.
That's right. The idea that A&M has just lost 10 straight road games is bewildering to me.
All right, let's do this. Let's hit a break. We're going to come back with some matchups, OB. I know you wrote about some matchups. We'll go through those. So with the help of the great Matthew Dawson, when I say great, he's great at a couple things. He's great with the daily fantasy sports platforms, right? That's why we have Prize Picks as partners with TexAgs. Go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and take advantage of everything that they have. If you sign up today, $50 instantly. When you play $5, you don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs. So here's my lineups for this weekend. Caleb Williams will throw more than a yard, all right? So that's a free square. I'm going to win that one. Montrell Johnson, more than a half rushing receiving touchdowns. Yes, I think he will score in this game, unfortunately. Josh Kelly, wide receiver for Texas Tech. I have him going more than 85 yards. Jaheim White, running back for West Virginia, more than 64.5 yards. Dominic Lovett, wide receiver for Georgia, less than 55.5 yards. Now, yesterday when I was going through my lineups, I had a lot of A&M in my lineups, right? I had Connor, but now with the question marks about him starting or not, some of those are off the board right now. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take some winners, and I'm going to make some money. Today's Flex Friday, by the way, in the Prize Picks world. It's a no-sweat entry. As long as you opt in, you can place a flex sign-up and get your entry fee back if you lose. You want to do it? You want to sign up for that $50, or excuse me, for the $50? All you have to do is go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to receive a guaranteed $50 when you play $5 in lineups. It is Prize Picks. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. If you want to be part of the conversation, call us or text us. We'll pick it up on the Boss Firearms Hotline. Boss Firearms, Aggieland's premier gun and accessory shop. They've got all you need to build your next firearm. Check them out at bossfirearms.com. OB, let's play a little OB matchups, all right?
Okay.
Let's go through some of these matchups. And you want to start off with A&M, I assume, if Connor's starting?
Yeah, if Connor's starting, you got to put Connor against that Florida pass defense that has been susceptible to giving up a lot of yardage.
Yep.
What I think Miami had 330 plus yards, I think, passing. Something outrageous. 385 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. And in fact, if you go back to last year, here's some of the teams. Missouri 331, LSU 372, Arkansas 255, Georgia 315, South Carolina 313, and Vanderbilt 280 yards passing. So they've been having trouble stopping the pass for quite a while now. Connor, we hope that he plays as well as he did the last time that they played a game in Florida.
Yep.
Down there last year in Miami. What was it, 336 yards passing, a couple of touchdowns, had a couple of interceptions because of the weather. And if the weather's bad again, it's something to look at. But this is a Florida pass defense that has had some issues. This is a A&M quarterback, if he's starting and healthy and everything, that has had some big games. So, you gotta capitalize on that.
Yeah.
That's a matchup that should be in your favor.
Yep. What else, Obi?
Well, I talked a lot about the Florida run defense. They've also been having trouble
They've been having
against
some
the
issues.
run. So once again, you're saying, can A&M control the line of scrimmage? Can they have success running the football? Miami rushed for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns against them. Last season, the Gators surrendered more than 170 rushing yards in 6 of the 8 SEC games.
That many, really?
Yeah, so, now my understanding is their linebackers are pretty solid.
Yep.
But their defensive line has had all kinds of issues. So if you can, again, we saw improvement from the offensive line. See some more of that against SEC opponent. I think you could see A&M have some success. Look, it's supposed to be kind of wet, kind of damp, kind of cloudy, and still a little bit muggy. Those are perfect conditions
To run the ball.
for moss to have growth. Moss grows in those kind of conditions. So let's
Moss.
So let's see moss. Let's see some more growth from moss. Let's see his stats grow.
Regardless of who plays quarterback, I believe you have to run the ball effectively in this game, regardless of who's quarterback. Because I think that's where they're vulnerable. And B, because I think Moss is due to have a big game. We've seen flashes of it these last couple of games, like nice numbers, right? The average yard per run has been great. Rush has been great, but nice numbers. I think it's ready to see a bigger workload.
Yeah, well, and last week, what was it, 80-something yards on just 9 carries? So I would look for him to have more of the workload like he had against Notre Dame when I think he had like 20 carries. Mm-hmm. So again, the opportunity is there with Moss 120 carries, let's say, 100 yards plus.
Yep.
I think that opportunity is certainly there. We can flip it the other way. I'm going to say A&M linebacker Torian York as the matchup against Florida running back Montrell Johnson. Now, as a captain, Torian took upon himself, and he said, I was the breakdown and rush defense against Notre Dame. Well, that may be true to some degree.
Partially true, but not.
But since he's saying, hey, I'm the key to this, then let's put the matchup Torian York against Florida running back Montrell Johnson.
Who's really good.
He's really good. He had 100 yards rushing 2 years ago against A&M.
That's right.
Came here. So he's a really good running back. And again, we talked about the 70-yard run he had against Miami. He has big playability. He has flashed it. He has shown it. A&M has big play vulnerability.
That's right.
So Torian, get that run defense together, make those fits. And by the way, Florida's offensive line has had some problems A&M's celebrated defensive line. Take advantage of it. It's another matchup that should be in your favor. Capitalize on it.
Do we want to get into some of the Florida players?
Well, we can talk about the Florida quarterbacks, whoever that may be. Who do you think they're going to go with?
I think they start Graham Mertz.
Graham Mertz. Okay, well, that would seem to be the safe bet because.
And then they're going to. But I would not be surprised if we see a little bit of Lagway in the first quarter, though.
Nothing would surprise me in this because Lagway, I think, is the guy with the higher ceiling and the more explosive guy, the guy that makes you hold your breath. Mertz is the guy that's probably less likely to make a mistake in terms of reading coverages and things like that, and maybe under pressure, even though he has a history of throwing a lot of interceptions. And he threw one against Miami, but last year only had 3, so maybe he's outgrown that. But still, I think your pass rush that you have a chance to mount, that you should have, Graham Mertz is probably less likely to be rattled into throwing an interception. But he's also more likely to take a sack. So whoever it is, between one of those guys, your defensive line needs to, again, that pass rush needs to be there. But if it's Lagway, make sure you got a spy waiting on him.
Yep. Let's talk about the wide receiver room because unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, I mean, I don't wish injury on anybody, but if Eugene Wilson is practicing, he's a big-time receiver.
He's a really good receiver and probably one of the 4 or 5 best in the SEC.
I think you wrote in your notes he was like 3rd in the SEC in receiving yards last year.
Yeah, I think that was right. He's
3rd in the Southeastern Conference in receiving yards. This year, 13 catches for 191 yards.
Yeah, so he's a threat, and that was he was just a freshman last year when he did. So he's a threat. Now, is he at 100%? Even if he practiced, that doesn't necessarily mean he's 100% because, my source told me he had a sprained ankle, and they were worried about whether or not he'd be able to play with it.
Right.
So if he slowed down at all, that helps you. But, that's a guy that you got to worry about. I don't know if you can do this anymore. I know you can't. Nobody does this anymore where they just take one guy and says, you go wherever he goes.
Right.
But if you did, you'd put Will Lee on him and say, hey, Will Lee, follow this guy wherever he goes. They're not going to do that. But whoever is guarding him, covering him as a corner, has got a big, a big task ahead of him because he's a big-time, big play threat if he's healthy.
Obi, let's focus on a couple of linebackers on their defense, Shamar James and Pup Howard. Pup Howard's the one who played for South Carolina last year. They're really happy with their linebacker room.
Yeah, like I said, they feel like they got really solid linebackers. And Shamar James, he leads the team with 9 tackles. I think last year he was 2nd on the team, I think, in tackles. He has their only interception.
He's the one who said, I hope that, when our running backs when Montreal Johnson sees Scooby, you run right at him, even if you have a touchdown. And he meant it in fun.
Yeah. He was a 4-star recruit that was rated the number 7 linebacker in the country in the 2022 recruiting class. Since then, 47 tackles, 2 sacks at 22. Last year, again, 54 tackles and a sack. He missed a lot of last year with a dislocated left kneecap.
Right.
So he's back healthy. So, solid player. Grayson Howard, 6'4", 238 pounds, really intimidating looking guy. Made his first career start, had 6 tackles in the season opener against Miami. I think he was the highest graded player on the Florida defense in that game.
What are we doing after this show?
We're jumping in the car and heading to Houston to catch a flight.
You know what the only problem with that is?
What is that?
We're not flying out of Austin. Why would I rather fly out of Austin today? If I wanted to eat lunch.
I was going to say, if on the way to Austin, I could just take a little detour into Snook or towards Snook, go to 1775.
What do you think I would eat?
Oh, you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm sure you're going to get some macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
And
Queso mac and cheese.
And then as a side dish, some barbecue, some brisket,
I'd
maybe
get some
some
brisket,
sausage.
some ribs.
Yeah.
I get turkey a lot.
Yes, you do.
I'm a sampler kind of guy. I want a little bit of everything.
I'm not opposed to that, but once I find something I really like,
You stick to it.
I typically stick to it. Pork ribs, brisket, and
You don't flirt
sausage.
with other meats. Once you choose your meat, you're all in on that meat.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Every now and then I will, stray to another meat.
Yeah.
But typically I have consistency in my meat.
Yeah, you like one meat at a time.
One meat at a time.
1775, it is the place to go to get your barbecue. Say hi to Brad, Brandon. You've also got Belinda there. She's the mom. You've got Glenda there. That's Brandon's wife. The food is fantastic. They're family-owned, veteran-owned as well. 1775 is open Thursdays through Saturday, 11 a.m. until they're sold out. Online ordering turns off at 10 a.m. 8203 Raymond Stosser Parkway in College Station. Call them up, 979-492-6241. It's 1775txbbq.com. 1775txbbq.com. TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio, the brand new Rollo Insurance Studio. It's beautiful. It is the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Before we get into our Pick Six, I do want to say this. I was listening to the commercial break and I guess the show before us has a guy named Nuño on their show.
Yeah.
That's just like, I wasn't expecting to hear that. Is this like a known thing? Is he a new guy? Do you know? I don't really listen to that show very often, but no disrespect. I'm just usually preparing for the show.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
So here's another thing. When I worked at 1560 The Game, there was a morning producer named Nuño Oaks. Okay?
Like Nuño.
Kind of. And he would talk about going out on dates. And then people would say, dude, you're married. How dare you? I go, I'm not Nuño Oaks. He's a different human being. But you're Nuño. No, I'm Nuño. Different guy. Anyway, time to do Pick Six presented by...
It's like a Nuño extravaganza.
Huh?
It was like...
Nuño.
And then the other guy.
And they used to call me Puffy Noons. But that's a story for a different day. Shout out to Brent Holt and Brandon Davenport. Right now, Prize Picks brings us our Pick Six. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Caleb Williams will get you one win every every Sunday this weekend in September. You get an automatic win for every football weekend in September. That's 4 free W's. Go to prizepicks.com. Use the code TexAgs to receive a guaranteed $50 once you play $5 in lineups. Let's go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Aggies gather at the Angry Elephant. McKinley Polanski, you've got our games for the day.
I do. Number 1 is number 20, Arizona, traveling to number 14, Kansas State. They're playing at 7 p.m. on Friday, today. They're playing at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. It will be streamed on Fox. And Kansas State is favored by 7.5 points.
I got no feel for this game, OB. I'm just going to say K-State because they're favored. They're at home. Why not?
Yeah, K-State at home. Hopefully I'm going to have a better week than I had last week.
Yeah, I didn't have a good week either.
I should have.
I could have.
Man, the bad beats I got last week were horrendous.
I need to stop being an emotional picker of games. I allow my emotions sometimes, because the A&M line last week against McNeese was a big line. And yes, they had it. They had it at the very end. But had I thought about it, that's a big number.
Yeah, but they're at the 3-yard line, first and goal.
But
to nail it down.
They didn't nail it down. But they didn't nail it down.
And then the coach from Lake Charles, where there's a lot of gambling, takes a timeout so they can kick a field goal to cover, which, by the way, I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah, I don't, because I lost. Polanski, let's go.
Number 4, Alabama is traveling to Wisconsin. They're playing at 11 a.m. at Camp Randall Stadium. It will be streamed on Fox, and Alabama is favored by 15.5 points.
So, OB, I think this is a big number for a Wisconsin team that's played well and an Alabama team that's been suspect. But I think just like last year, Alabama gets right, and they figure it out, and they win by more than 15.5 points.
Who has Wisconsin played?
Nobody.
Right. And they were god-awful last year. So I'm gonna roll.
I like Luke Fickell, though. I do. I think he's a good coach.
Yeah, I keep hearing that.
He did well with Cincinnati.
I'm going to roll with the Tide on this one.
So you think they win by more than 15.5?
I'm going to take Jalen Hurts. Not Jalen Hurts, Jalen Milroe.
I'm
going to Jalen Milroe with the Tide.
You got Shamars and Jalen's all over college football.
This weekend, it's a Shamar fest.
Shamar extravaganza. Polanski, let's go.
Number 16, LSU is traveling to South Carolina. They are playing at 11 a.m. at Williams-Brice Stadium. It will be streamed on ABC, and LSU is favored by 6.5 points.
You know how I know what generation you're from?
How?
Because you say streamed.
Streamed instead of
because your generation, you guys you don't think about analog television. You guys think about streaming.
You stream?
It'll be streamed, but is it on regular TV for our 85-year-old audience? Yes, it is, right, McKinley?
Yes.
I'm just giving you a hard time. OB, this is the weekend that LSU gets right. I know South Carolina looked good. I think LSU wins by a touchdown in this game. But I kind of want them to lose.
Yeah, I mean, it's LSU.
But either way, A&M's going to have to play both of these teams. So it'd be nice for A&M to beat one of these teams or both of these teams, and they're both be kind of good. I say LSU on the road.
Yeah, I really don't care because if LSU wins.
They're supposed to.
Yeah, and my son probably celebrates himself into a drunken stupor.
And if they lose,
Yeah, he probably
does the same thing.
Goes into a drunken stupor. I'm going to take LSU because, hey, you got to do more than blow out Kentucky for me to start believing in you.
Yep. I agree. Polanski, what are we streaming now?
I'm going to be more worried about the next one.
Number 24, Boston College, is traveling to number 6, Missouri. They are playing at 11:45 a.m. at Memorial Stadium. It will be streamed on SEC Network, and Missouri is favored by 15.5 points.
That's a big number.
It's a big number, but I just can't have Bill O'Brien having too many nice things.
Yeah, but you know what? I went against them against Florida State. And
I went with them.
They just pushed Florida State around.
I know in this room, there's nobody who knows Bill O'Brien better than I do.
Yeah.
Because I'm the only one who's talked to him. So, this is the kind of game that he loses.
Really?
Even though I picked him to beat Florida State. Now, that's a big number, right? That's a big number. I think Missouri is going to take care of business. They'll win by like 20 points.
Yeah, probably. My inclination is to go with Missouri, but then I'm saying I'm so far back, I need to probably start taking some chances already.
Yep.
But I'll take them next week. I'll go with Missouri as well.
Awesome. Polanski?
Number 9, Oregon, is
Everybody's
traveling.
15 points on this.
Yeah,
on this
this is hard.
Number 9, Oregon, is traveling to Oregon State. They're playing at 2:30 p.m. at Resser Stadium. It will be streamed on Fox, and Oregon is favored by 15.5 points.
So,
On the
OB,
road in the Civil War.
so this is the week that I think I either make a significant push towards the top of the leaderboard or I go so last that I have no chance of coming back, right? I feel like this is a weekend that Oregon gets right.
Well, they need to.
They need to.
Here's the problem. I haven't seen any. I couldn't tell you who Oregon State's played.
I can't either.
You know,
We do a lot of prep for this.
So I sure don't know what the scores were like. And when I've watched Oregon, they just haven't looked that good.
They haven't. That's a big number.
That's a
On the road against your rival,
and you just don't walk into Reser Stadium and not get your.
there will be at
plucked.
least 17,000 fans there, right?
Oh no.
No, they probably do pretty good.
They probably have
50, 60,
40,000,
40?
45.
Idaho State and San Diego State are Oregon State's 2 games this year, OB.
See, I don't want to do it. I feel like I need to take a shower for picking this, but I'm going to take Oregon
I'm taking Oregon too.
because I'm rooting against Oregon.
But because Evan Stewart went there?
No.
Because you're not a Dan Lanning guy? Because they're Oregon? What?
You know, all the Phil Knight money and all behind them, and
And they're rooting against us. So we're going to root against them.
it's just in Oregon.
We fight fire
I don't
with
like their
fire.
politics. You know, everything about Oregon. It rains a lot there.
It does rain a lot. Yeah.
You know, so all the things I don't like are happening in Oregon.
Okay. So I'm going to agree with OB. Oregon. I'm taking Oregon.
Last but not
Are
least,
we agreeing on every game?
Yeah, we're
today?
both going to be in last place by a lot. I don't know what my voice did. You hear that? Like there was like spit involved in that conversation right there. It was not good. All right, Polanski.
All right, last but not least, Texas A&M is traveling to Florida. They're playing at 2:30 p.m. at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. It will be streamed on ABC, and Texas A&M is favored by 3 points.
I don't know what to say.
I'm taking the Aggies.
I'm taking the Aggies too.
I don't always take the Aggies, believe it or not.
You always take the Aggies?
I don't
Oh, I
always.
definitely don't always take the Aggies.
But I'm going to take them in this one.
Last year, I think I took them in one road game. That was against Miami. And I still think they should have won that game. I didn't take them at Tennessee. I didn't take them in a lot of places, right? Because I wanted them to prove it to me. I think if it's Marcel, if it's Connor, if it's Pablo Escobar, whoever the quarterback is, I think A&M should, could, and will win this weekend by at least a field goal. You said the point total was just 3?
3.5.
3.5? Okay.
It's
So-
3 now. The line
it
moved
is now
since
3.
this morning. Yeah, it's 3.
Okay.
Oh, there must be some action coming in on Florida.
I'm taking the Aggies.
Yeah, I'm taking the Aggies.
Thank you very much,
The
McKinley.
law of averages, right? They got to win on the road eventually.
In your lifetime, has streaming always been the option?
your
Your
life-
entire
I always
life?
said like streaming,
Huh?
like games or like
Or anything?
shows.
Like,
or
you don't know
anything.
life without streaming as a possibility,
Right.
right? Your entire life, you've had the access, the ability to watch something on your phone,
Yes.
on an iPad, the entire life.
Yes.
Every day.
Well, I don't, but I've had.
No, I'm just saying
Yes.
you've had the option.
Yes. YouTube's been around my whole life.
Obi, in your lifetime, color TV the entire time?
No.
You had black and white?
Yeah, I had black and white TV. And I had no, I mean, now I got streaming. I watch them gallantly streaming.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting. All right, we'll hit a break. We will come back with Bank on It and, of course, Around Aggieland with Kay Naegeli. Right now, we're talking duck camp. We're not wearing duck camp right now. We should. We should travel with duck camp, but you love the duck camp gear.
I do. I love it so much I took Oregon.
Well played. Well played. You love it so much that your son stole one of your shirts from you.
He did. He did. And he wanted to steal my cap, but I wouldn't let him have it.
I love those caps.
Those
love
are nice
them.
hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I accidentally got two.
See, there you go.
Well, they gave me one.
Yeah.
And then there was, Richard came in, hey, there's some extra hats. And I took, I have two different
Well,
colors.
you got two sons.
Well, they're not going to wear it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is for me, baby. When I go hunting, because I'm a hunter, well, I'm about to be. Anyway, the clothing from Duck Camp is very comfortable. You'll love it. It's stylish, comfortable, and you can use it in a fishing setting and in a hunting setting. You name it. You can use it at the gym. I use the shorts to go to the gym, walk around the house, go out. It is awesome gear. They have been tested in the backcountry of Alaska to the dove fields of Texas, ready to keep you cool and comfortable for those Scorcher game days. So make sure that you check out Duck Camp. Go to the website, duckcamp.com. It is made for people who live for the moments out there where there are fish to catch, birds to hunt, and a time to kill, football to watch. It's Duck Camp. Check it out, duckcamp.com. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creation. It's time to bank on it, presented by Vera Bank. Authentic relationship-based banking, built for real life. Go see Joel Jackson and the team. Learn more at verabank.com. OB, I'll give you time to come up with yours. I am banking on Le'Veon Moss going for over 110 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You can do it too.
That's well, I always want to be different. People tell me all the time, Olin, you're kind of different.
Well,
So to be different, I think I'm going to say this is the game where that A&M pass rush finally shows up, and I'm going to pick 5. I'm saying 5. You heard it right here. 5 sacks.
I was going to say 3, but 5.
5 sacks. 5. You heard it right here.
How many on Lagway? How many on Mertz?
5 on Mertz, 0 on Lagway. No, you can't do it. It can't do it that way because if Mertz is that much of a statue, then they're going to take him out. So it's going to be 3 on Mertz. They might even sack Fred and Ethel Mertz as well. So it's going to be 3 on Mertz and 2 on Lagway.
Time for Around Aggieland, presented by Normandy State Bank. Normandy State Bank, rock solid banking. The website is normandystatebank.com. And with that, we have the Kay Naegeli.
Are y'all excited about your road trip? Are y'all ready to go?
One thing I know is OB knows my style, right? So he had me book reservations somewhere.
Love
We
it.
do the double booking, right? One place, and then if we get the other place, we get it, right? And it's on the water. That's all I know. Where we're going tonight, it's on the water, so I'm happy.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. OB?
You know, these travel for us is not that glamorous, right? We usually have a good
Hanging out
dinner.
with Nuño isn't glamorous?
We have a
What are you
good.
talking about? I probably will work out when I get to the hotel.
Right.
Perfect. I have to.
I will probably get skinless chicken breast. No, I will get actual food tonight.
Yeah, probably something from the water.
All right. Well, y'all are traveling to Gainesville, for those who don't know. It has been 1,063, I'm going to let that sit for a second, days since Texas A&M won a game on the road. That is going back to the Jimbo Fisher era, and Mike Elko looks to reverse that curse, if you will. A reminder, that game is on ABC at 2:30. And then want to get into the SEC Student Athlete Availability Report. So Ruben Owens, Trey Jones, Tyreek Chappelle, and Mark Naboo are all out. Those are names that we knew. And then Connor Wigman and Scooby Williams are listed as questionable. Questionable is quantified as 50-50. So literally probably a game time decision there. Also to note, EJ Smith and Anai White. Both were out a week ago. They were not listed on the SEC's report. So good to see. Hopefully they come back if they don't get added today. I want to get into some Aggies in the NFL. Devon Achane, got to get used to that name, and Von Miller went off on Thursday Night Football as the Bills beat the Dolphins 31-10. Achane led Miami's rushing and passing attack, 96 yards rushing on 22 carries, and then 69 yards on 7 receptions. And then Von Miller just remains disruptive. He had 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, and 2 regular tackles. Also, soccer is in the Nutmeg State. That is Connecticut. They picked up a win last night with a pair of second-half goals. That was Jasmine Wilkinson and Kennedy Clark. Both recorded their first goals of the year, while Grace McLennan recorded her second clean sheet in a row. They will remain in Connecticut, taking on the Yukon Huskies on Sunday. Getting to some baseball real fast just to run through their 2025 schedule. Home games will be Alabama, Kentucky, South Carolina, LSU, and Missouri. And then away will be, this is a tough away schedule, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Arkansas, Texas, and Georgia. That's going to be a heck of a slate in Mike Early's first year. And then volleyball will be in Aggieland this weekend. They look to continue their non-conference dominance. They have only dropped 1 set through 4 games. That is a 12-1 set advantage. They will be taking on Temple, UNH, and then Louisiana in the Texas A&M Invitational this weekend. Also, just to let y'all know, cross country got going this morning with the Texas A&M Invitational. The men kicked off at 8 a.m., so good luck to them.
Way to go. Great
Thanks.
job, Kay. When we come back on TexAgs Live, we've got SEC Mike. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to Billy Liucci, the final countdown at 10 o'clock. OB, thank you, sir.
All right.
Let's get ready for that roadie. It's TexAgs Live. We'll be back in a bit. And we're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go to the Boss Firearms, your local experts. They buy used guns, ammo, and accessories. Go to bossfirearms.com to start earning money like a boss today. And we are joined there on the Boss Firearms Hotline by SEC Michael Bratton here on the program. And I see the 12th man proudly placed right above your right shoulder. Mike, good morning, buddy.
Hey, morning, David. Thanks for having me.
So what are your thoughts on this Florida game? Look, there's a lot to unpack in this particular game. Quarterback situation on both sides, a coach on the hot seat, a coach trying to establish a winning culture at a place that has not won to the level it needs to with the investment they've done over the last few years. When you look at this game, what do you see?
Yeah, and you didn't even mention the Aggies can't win on the road in conference play, and Florida can't win at home under Billy Napier. So, I mean, just whatever angle you want to look at this football game, and we don't know who's going to play quarterback for either team, really. So, anyone that tells you that they know who's going to win this game, I think they're lying to you. I'm rolling with Florida, but I don't have a lot of confidence in that. And I even picked Florida before we found out Connor Wigman was essentially 50-50 for this football game, but I don't know, man. Again, I don't have much confidence in it. I do think if you want to say, what is the one best unit, one biggest advantage in this football game, I think it will be Texas A&M's defense. I think that's far and away the best unit in this football game. But, again, if DJ Lagway plays and they just let him loose, I think Florida wins. I don't have confidence in Billy Napier to make that decision, though.
All right, let's kind of unpack this a little bit more. So, to me, A&M at this point has the better roster. Agree or disagree?
I would agree with that.
Okay, and has less integral parts injured. I mean, obviously, if Connor's not able to go, that's a huge punch in the gut. But if you look at top to bottom, I feel like the entire Florida roster's on that injury report. Their secondary is completely on there. So to me, I look at it, if you take away the Jimbo lens of this season, right? Don't think about Jimbo. Hey, to me, I don't see a situation where A&M shouldn't be favored, but I understand with the Connor potentially being out, why you would go the other way.
Right, and I'm looking at the Florida injury report. I mean, their best defensive back, Marshall's not on there. I mean, there are a lot of guys out, but I don't know that these are any key contributors necessarily. Particularly in the second. Well, Asa Turner is a big one. But, again, he's a transfer. He's only played 2 games down there, or I think 1.5. But I don't know. I just, like I said, I got no confidence. I don't know. What is A&M? What does the offense look like? Florida's got an awful defense. If A&M can't move the ball on this defense, we got real problems. And I'm still not convinced that Connor Wigman fits this offense. Now, I got a lot of confidence in Colin Klein. It's his job to make sure Connor does. But if he doesn't, I think it's going to reveal itself on Saturday. We're going to have major issues, David, if we don't score at least 24 points in this game.
All right, so let's just play out the scenario that A&M wins this game convincingly. In this scenario, right? Billy Napier gets let go on Sunday, if that happens, or in this scenario. Who replaces him next year?
Well, it's not going to be Mark Stoops, I don't think. I mean, it may have been about a year ago, but, Florida fans, they think they're going to get a big name. They're not going to get a big name. That's not the Florida way. And I don't have any confidence in Scott Strickland to make the right decision. So where do they? I mean, they got bigger problems down there, David, at Florida. I mean, it's issue after issue after issue. But it'll probably be a G5 guy like an Alex Golish down there. I think he's doing a terrific job at South Florida. I wouldn't say nearly knocked off Alabama, but played them tight for 3.5 quarters last week, and I think they won 10 games in his first year. So I think it'll be a G5 guy.
Got SEC Mike there on the Boss Firearms Hotline. Billy Liucci's here with us. Hello, Billy.
Hello.
How are you, man?
I'm good, David.
Good to see you, buddy.
I'm trying to get acclimated, coming in at 9. Because I got to be here for Mike. I missed him last week. I'm like, I got to be in there.
Yeah, I was giving him heck. I'm like, well, I'm showing up, but you're not showing up. I mean, this is your show. Come on, buddy.
Well, I think it's because he probably said something wild and outlandish last week, and I wasn't here to
What did you say wild and outlandish last week?
I don't remember. I'm assuming, but I wasn't here to temper it and keep it like.
I think he said
fun.
Vanderbilt would beat Texas A&M if they played
this week.
I think he said, is that what you said last week, Mike? That sound right?
I got him. Yeah, my power rankings. I got Vanderbilt. I still have Vanderbilt ahead of Texas A&M because they've shown me more this season. Now, you go down to Florida and you win at Florida, that'll probably change my mind really quickly.
Especially if they have to win up there without a starting quarterback, which is TBD. But clearly Connor's been banged up the last couple weeks. I referenced something in a write-up, but it wasn't worth going into because he was going to play. But he was banged up after the Notre Dame game. It happened on the quarterback sneak late in that Notre Dame game. Well, it was early fourth quarter when they scored down there on the goal line. And it cost him a little bit of practice time a week ago. He played against McNeese a quarter and a half. Unfortunately, I think he only took one hard hit. It was on his last play of the game, or the last play he was in there, and a short touchdown pass. I believe that was to Moose.
Yep.
But I don't think that did anything to aggravate. I think it's just an issue of him. I think this thing's lingered a little longer than they thought, and it's costing him practice time. He played last week, so we'll see if he plays this week. But I think because of that, Elko had to put him on the list as questionable. I'm still trying to get acclimated, Mike. I'm sure you are covering the whole league to this injury list thing. You're hearing about something a day or a few hours before, and then boom, it drops. I don't know the rules on what coaches have to do in terms of, is it just if guys don't practice, they've got to go on. I don't know all the specifics, but going back to the Vandy thing, I'm going to disagree with you if they played. But if you're going off of what have they accomplished on the field, and that's your methodology, then yeah, they beat Virginia Tech. A&M hasn't beaten anybody but McNeese in 2 games, and they lost to Notre Dame, who lost to Northern Illinois. I will say this: had A&M played Vandy and Diego at quarterback in week 1, that would have been a dogfight because A&M did not play good football in the opener. And they're going to have to play a lot better brand of ball Saturday, with Connor, and especially if they don't have Connor available, they're going to have to play at a whole nother level. And I'm talking about defense. I'm talking about in the passing game, all of it. I think their level has got to be up. Y'all mentioned the road losing streak. I mean, normally I would say that had nothing to do with Mike Elko. And that would be my whole, just leave me alone with it. It's not Mike, that's Jimbo, that's not Mike Elko. And it's not Elko, but it is relevant because it's so long. It is relevant because it's still Jimbo's players minus about 25 of them. The players on this team have not gone away from Kyle Field and won. And we have all our reasons, but until they break that streak, but if they do, Mike, they go way up on the list, in my opinion, and not just because of beating Florida. I just think they'll go on a little winning streak, and you'll see Missouri coming in here for a big game. But they got to survive this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think the same thing about Florida. I mean, it's going to be week in, week out. As pathetic as this to say, but Florida's every game's going to be a must-win for the next 5 weeks. After A&M, they play at Mississippi State. They got no excuse losing that game. They have Central Florida at home. I mean, these are all losable games. Then at Tennessee, I'm sure that looks like a game everybody and their mother is going to be picking Tennessee, but Florida beats Tennessee every year. And then Kentucky at home, which they've not beat 3 years in a row.
Wow.
Before that, they beat them about 35 years in a row. So, I mean, every one of these games, I feel like is a must-win, and it starts with A&M. I don't have any confidence in either team to win this football game.
I honestly, I would have. If you tell me that Connor's trotting out there healthy enough to go, I would have slight confidence that A&M would win. Not overwhelming. Just based on, I would have in the back of my mind that first game and that performance by him in the passing game. But I think I would also have in my mind what Connor's been throughout his short starting career.
Yeah.
And again, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's a lay down guarantee. He's going to go back and play like he did against Ole Miss and LSU or even Miami. But I would feel better about that happening, and I'd feel better about that Aggie defense. I'd pick A&M, but slightly.
The front seven's got to dominate this football game. Florida does not have a good offensive line. If they can dominate there like they did for a lot of that Notre Dame game, they're going to win this football game. But just the biggest wild card is DJ Lagway. How early, how much do they play him? He potentially raises the ceiling for Florida football, but I think Billy Napier's too dumb to realize that.
Mike, what would it do for you if A&M goes out and does dominate the game? Let's say they win 31-10. In your eyes, is it still week to week with A&M at that point? Or are you then, all right, I've seen something, let's move on?
Yeah, I know. I would start to buy in a little bit, but maybe this is why Coach Elko was trying to pump the brakes on, a preseason ranking and what can we accomplish, what can we do, and all this. So I just need to see it. And you guys are right. I mean, it's not fair to put all this on Elko. It's on the previous coach, most of it. But I'm kind of tired of all the hype. There needs to be some substance there.
Yeah, but listen, here's the deal, Mike, and this is my thing. I get it, like from where you sit for Texas A&M over the years, right? I agree. Right. We sit here in this seat, and it's like it's hard to disagree with that. Expectations are up here; they fall under them. When it comes to actual Mike Elko, the guy is literally coached 8 quarters of football, and 4 of them against a Notre Dame team that, look, were they top 5? No. Are they top 10? No. Are they top 25 team? Sure. With a great defense, returning everyone, and it was a tie game with 2 minutes left. So I don't want to go into the whole A&M, prove it, I'm tired of it, I'm sick of it, because it literally is a coach that's coached 8 quarters at this place. So, and listen, you sound like some Aggies do, so it's not this is not a Mike Bratton specific thing. This is A&M. A lot of A&M fans are saying that, and I'm saying the same thing to them. Like, it's 8 quarters under a new coach. 1 throwaway game, 1 big game to open the season that was a 58, 59-minute football game. So what's going to be tough is if it is a rebuilding year and if it does take time to get it off the ground, what you're saying, that sentiment here in College Station and around college football is going to get louder and louder. The reality, though, is we're 2 games into this thing. And I don't think it's a must-win for Elko and A&M, but I think it's a very, very important game for the program right now. It's a chance to break that losing streak, which, I mean, you should, right? You're going into the swamp to play a team on the ropes that doesn't know what they're going to do at quarterback, that doesn't know if their coach is going to make it past Sunday. You should go win that game. It's an opportunity to break the streak and then change the narrative to, okay, 3 games in, A&M went into the swamp and won. They've got a favorable schedule the next few weeks. It's an opportunity. Don't waste it. It's not must win like it is for Napier and Florida, but it is potentially I don't think it's a season definer, but if you lose it, it could be.
Yeah, because Florida is, quite frankly, is not that good of a team.
They stink, yeah.
And I think Arkansas and Missouri are significantly better than Florida, who are your next 2 conference games. So
agreed.
That's why I'd be pretty disappointed if they lost this game.
Same. I'm with you. I mean, but I'm going to tell you, if it's not Connor and that questionable turns into out, they're just going to have to roll up their sleeves and grit it out. I know Marcel Reed looked really good in the bowl game last year, but you saw last week what you saw is a really talented young, kind of like Lagway, a really talented young quarterback, but a guy who you can tell is still very young, hasn't played a ton of football. So then you go back to what Mike was saying. If you're A&M, and that's the way things shake out, if you're on that defensive line and you're an All-American or an All-Conference guy, or you came back, or you're Torian York as a team captain and linebacker, that defense is going to have to lock it the hell down. And if you have to win a low-scoring game, much like you lost to Notre Dame, then by God, you need to do it. And that's why those guys came back, is to play dominant SEC football. And if your quarterback's banged up, or if you're going with a young backup quarterback, we'll see which defense rises up and says, we're not going to let us lose today. And that, in my opinion, should absolutely be A&M with what they do have coming back on that side of the ball.
Hey, Mike, go ahead. I'm sorry.
What happens, is this a problem at all if, let's say they go on the road, they win by a comfortable margin, and Marcel Reed looks great. Let's say he scores 3 touchdowns, whether that's passing, rushing, or just a combined. Would that be an issue moving forward? I mean, where do you go with the quarterback then? Let's say Wigman's fine for Bowling Green. Who would you roll out there?
Yeah, that's always an interesting one. And that's, I think not for everyone, because for that scenario for Marcel, it'd be awesome. And for the team, because you got him winning big. But yeah, that always will create, that's just the reality of it, right? Like if you're starting 13 points in the opener, you come back a few games later on the road against an SEC team and your quarterback. Again, this is all hypothetical, but if your quarterback backup does play and lights it up, then yeah, I think you have to have a real conversation in the week following. Because not to say that Bowling Green's a walkover. I mean, they should be in theory, but look what they did at Penn State last weekend. You'd have to figure that one out real quick. And you mentioned Arkansas and Missouri back-to-back. I'm going to tell you this. I'm never going to sit there. I'm never going to go all in on Arkansas because they scored a bunch of points in 2 games against Air and Oak State. We're talking about a young quarterback that hadn't played. This young quarterback that hadn't played had 400 yards of offense being called off the bench one play into a game against that Oak State defense. They suck defensively. But you can watch football and tell that Arkansas is a lot better on offense than they've been. My point of saying all this is, if you're going to beat Arkansas, and I'm never going to assume A&M's not because they're 11-1 and 12, and if you're going to beat Missouri at home, you better be prepared to score a bunch of points. So, yeah, if one of the quarterbacks show that at Florida, I think it does change a lot in the room of what the conversations are anyway.
Hey, Mike, before I let you go, who's got the best offense in the SEC?
Probably Ole Miss. But again, they've played nothing but jokesters. You know what I mean? So it's hard to evaluate. But Tennessee's up there. They lit up NC State. Texas has got to be up there. It's probably those 3 right now.
I like that, jokesters. We got a couple of jokesters coming in the 10 o'clock hour. Man, I'll tell you what, it annoys me right now, Mike, that the only way we're going to get to see the matchup in the SEC I'd like to see most this year is in the SEC title game, which would absolutely sicken me, or in the playoff, which is
Texas Ole Miss.
Ole Miss and Texas. Yeah. I would love to see Dart, Ewers, Kiffin, Sark, and those 2 offenses just go at it for 60 minutes.
I think Ole Miss and Tennessee, I don't think they have any desire to be in the SEC championship. And people are not talking about this, but it's meaningless now. Yeah. Give me a bye that week. We'll go on to the college football playoff, and you face, a G5 champ, ACC number 2, or what have you. There's no value in playing in the SEC championship unless you win it. And I don't know. I don't understand even why they're playing these games anymore, to be honest with you, aside from money.
It's true. Well, you just said it. There's no that's it. That's that money but yeah, I mean, not only everything you just said, and I'm sitting here in the back of my head going, oh yeah, and you were probably playing Georgia. So just think of the physical toll of playing Georgia versus not.
Right.
I mean, A, there's the injury factor, but B, there's the just the beat up physically at the end of a long season. Like you said, you could take a couple week break there.
All right, let's hit a break here. Mike, thanks so much, man. We'll see you in a couple weeks. You're traveling next week, right?
Yes, sir. I'll be in Norman, Oklahoma for the Tennessee game.
Awesome, man.
Ooh, that one, I'm calling it now. Ugly. All right, buddy.
I won't say that till it's over. I
Yeah.
won't predict it because I'm trying to make friends down there.
I like it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
SEC Mike there on the Boss Firearms Hotline. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. I got some questions for Billy on the other side. Right now, let's talk about Heritage Films and Chance McClain, who makes that website, and yourheritagefilm.com. They do documentary films for families, for family businesses, for family ranches, for folks that just want to tell their family story, right? And I think we all have a story to tell, and we should consider telling it in a documentary form, a 2-hour documentary form. Chance can do it for your family. Like right now, you're listening like, all right, I'm sold, Nuño. What do I do? Well, you call him up, 713-893-8341, or go to his website, yourheritagefilm.com. If you're asking yourself, why do I want a documentary? Well, because it's for the next generation and the generation after that, right? So you watch it, you tell your dad's story, how he met your mom, how he started his business, whatever. Everybody's got a unique story, right? And then your kids get to watch it, and their kids later get to watch it, and they get to know the fabric of the family, right? You get to know the story, the real nuts and bolts, and it's passed on for generation after generation. Again, that website, yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341 is Heritage Films. Riding solo here for a little bit. It's TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's talk about Rollo Insurance, the official insurance provider of TexAgs Live, and of course they were of TexAgs Radio. Back in the day, back in the old days when we were in that old studio, way long time ago. But they're the best. Jason Jackson Rollo. Jason, started a monster with Rollo Insurance. Their headquarters is on Highway 6 right here in College Station. You can call them up, 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com. But the beauty of having Rollo Insurance is the fact that they are local, super local. They are right here in town. They will take great care of you no matter what you're looking to do. They've got offices all around the great state of Texas, 60 offices in Texas. You've got South Texas, you've got the Houston office, you've got the DFW office, the Tyler office, Austin, San Antonio, west of the Panhandle, everything outside, homeowners insurance, car insurance, farmers, ranchers, hobby farmers, business owners, and their priorities are God, family, and country. Call them up again, 888-44-ROLLO, go to rolloinsurance.com. That is 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com. Let's go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. McKinley, Polanski, I know you've got a text message or a YouTube chat to give us a few moments to think about.
I do. Melissa Money said, is it possible we're making Florida have to prep for 2 quarterbacks the way they are making us prepare for 2 in order to level the playing field?
Well, yes, Olin brought that up at the top of the show. So let me reset it for those, because I know there was a text earlier that said, hey, well, what's the latest with Connor? There isn't a latest as of right now. Connor's been dealing with an issue since the Notre Dame game. And it's been lingering, and I think I don't know if re-aggravated is the right way to phrase it, but he took a hit in the McNeese game that kind of made it flare up. If I were betting, and Billy has not told me off the record or on the record or anything, right? Like, I'm just telling you, I think Connor's going to play tomorrow. I do. It's my feeling. I think Marcel's got to be ready to roll, and I think I have faith that Marcel can get the job done against Florida, even though it would be his first SEC start, let's say, if that were the case. But all that being said, he's got a banged-up shoulder. I think he's going to play. He's missed practice this week, and he's on the injury report, and now you have to provide these injury reports, and you have to be factual, you can be fined, and Connor's on there. And now there's questions. Well, A&M hasn't won on the road in 1,062, 63, over 1,000 days, right? And Olin also brought up the fact that if they don't win this game, it'll be 3 full years that they haven't won a road game at least, because their next chance won't be until the middle of October, which would be 3 years after their win in Missouri in 2021, which I believe was October the 16th of 2021. So yeah, Connor's hurt, but I'm sorry. I don't want to say I don't care, because obviously I care. I just want to not have things to point out like, well, if we would have had this guy, if we would have had that guy. I'm not using the Jimbo analysis with Coach Elko. It's a new regime. It's the 8 quarters that Billy talked about. I am 1,000% on board with all that thinking. But for my sanity, for I think the sanity on the message boards at TexAgs.com, for the entire fan base, just win. Al Davis, just win, baby. To me, it's this. Look, the quarterback is one of the most important pieces. It is the most important piece of that offense, right? But you've had these questions every freaking year. I just don't want to deal with quarterbacks being hurt, issues just win. I don't care how. Marcel showed you a lot last year in his one outing, right? Jalen Henderson showed you a lot, right? So I don't want I can't win because our quarterbacks. I want Connor to play, and I want him to be excellent. And I want Marcel and Jalen to get their opportunities too, right? To me you invested heavily on a defensive line that needs to go out and eat. You have revamped your I'm making this about the defense right now, even though I built it up with the offense. But I'm talking defense right now. You've got a freshman quarterback potentially playing in his 3rd game, but most significant action probably seen in this game. Well, yes, he played against Stanford last week the entire game. But his first real game. Make that dude run for his life. If it's Graham Mertz, make that statue crumble, right? That, to me, let's put all the emphasis on 2 areas, regardless of who your quarterback is. If it's Marcel Reed or if it's Connor Wigman, you've got to have the defense prey on the Florida offense. They have a bad offensive line. They have a really good running game. right? But when they line up the pass, you've got to send the blitz. You've got to send the house. You've got to make Graham Mertz realize, I don't have time. I'm going to throw a bad pass. Pick, right? You need to show DJ Lagway, you got to run, buddy. And when you run, this guy's waiting for you, right? So you've got to make the defense be the star of this game to get through this road test, right? And then on the offensive side, Le'Veon and Amari Daniels, take us home, baby. Open it up so if it's Marcel or Connor, you've got to think about the running game to where they do pass, it does open up. Noah Thomas, it does open up the rest of the crew, right? Ja'Day Walker. I'm putting the emphasis on the defense and the running game. Don't make dumb mistakes. Obviously, there's a lot of things you can point at. But if I'm going to point at two things, if I am worried about my quarterback situation, my two things are very simple. Get after Lagway, get after Mertz, make them run for their lives, and let's run the ball. Now, the other thing, going back to the defense, I think enough adjustments should be made by now that you stop the run because you have struggled with the run. Let's not let this be who you are. Let's show the world this is who you really are, that you've had a couple of big plays that have happened, but overall you've been very good at stopping the run. No big plays, right? Take out everything from with all the momentum that Florida may feel if Lagway gets out there. No, none. Don't allow momentum. And that's easier said than done. I'm talking like a fan right now. Like, the reality is this is going to be a tight game in the fourth quarter based on all the information we have, based on how SEC games go. But I think you've got the better roster. I think you have a significantly better defense. So, do what you got to do. Don't worry about the past. Worry about the right now. All right, call us up. 979-693-1150. Chase in Houston, I see it. The time is over, man. In fact, McKinley, read Chase's text before we hit a break.
What happened? Chase's?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, yes, I'll read it.
All right, you got it. Polanski, let's go.
Chase said, you said it, brother. Excuse time is over. Just figure out to have one more point on the scoreboard than Florida. It's a new age of college football where excuses are hard to come by now. Just get the job done.
Get it done. Let's not I don't care. Put me at freaking quarterback. You won't win. But enough with it. I don't want to talk about road losses anymore. I'm sick of it. I don't want to do the post-game wrap with Leone and CT on Saturday and be like, 1,000 and whatever days. No, I don't care. Quarterback hurt. Tyreek Chappelle hurt. Jake Jones hurt. I don't care. I care for them. Speedy recovery. And hopefully Connor can play and hopefully those guys are back soon, right? Yes, I do care about their health and I care about the state of the team. What I'm saying is I don't want to get to Saturday again we didn't have our... I did that story in 21. I did that story in 22. I did that story in 23. I don't want to do that story anymore. That story's done. I want to do a new story where you say, it doesn't matter who's out there. We're that darn good, we win. I feel like I'm getting heated. Am I heated?
No, just maybe a little
fired
up, but
You play to win the game, OB. Career opportunities at the Association of Former Students. Like that segue? If you're looking for a reason to move back to Aggieland, you should reach out to the Association of Former Students. They've got a lot of positions open. Typically, you'll find them in fundraising and marketing, the business offices, you name it. They always have great openings there. They have a great staff. Scott comes in here all the time. He's fantastic. Randy, the whole crew, they're so great. Porter Garner, he's awesome. They're the premier alumni association and the oldest organization serving A&M in support of that Aggie network. They play a part in every Aggie story from Howdy to here. Don't miss an opportunity to help out the association with Howdy Socials and Aggie Ring Day, class reunions, Aggie Muster, and everything in between. Join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. And if you're interested in joining the team or sharing with someone that would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It is the Association of Former Students. So how do you really feel? Like confidence meter right now. Got an open segment here if you want to call in on the Boss Firearms hotline. Do you feel like regardless of quarterback, you feel good about this game? I know most of you don't feel good because of the history, right? But I want to hear like why you feel good or why you don't. Like why you think they should win the game or why you're thinking they're going to lose. 979-693-1150. I saw somebody on the chat, I don't remember who said it, but it was a good thought. Like Wrecking Crew Days wins this game. So let's have a Wrecking Crew kind of performance from Texas A&M when they go on the road to the Swamp, right? All week it's been trending like, oh, this should be an A&M win, right? That's how I felt. That's exactly how I felt all week long. But, you know, you get the news yesterday like, oh, I don't know now, right? So how do you feel about it? 979-693-1150. So I saw this. Steve Spurrier says that they need to see DJ Lagway play. Obviously, Spurrier, legendary coach at Florida, won national championships there. I don't know who's going to start or whatever, he tells Anthony, another duly noted podcast. I don't know who's going to start or whatever, but he needs to play. How much? We'll see. Well, that's Captain Obvious there. Lagway's got a chance to show he can really play. That was encouraging. He can make all the throws, plus he can run. The more I watch football nowadays, if your quarterback can't run a bit, I don't know how you win. Well, guess what? Marcel Reed can run. Connor Wigman can run. So, yes, that is true. Graham Mertz cannot run, okay? A couple of notes from this article on On3. Mertz threw for a career-high 2,903 yards last year, 20 touchdowns, only had 3 interceptions in that game. And a little bit more from Spurrier. He's been playing with all his teammates, so Mertz has been there with all these guys a little bit longer. So if he starts the game on all this, the other, maybe everybody's happy and away we go. But obviously, Lagway's got to play a whole bunch the rest of the season. What I expect to see is for Mertz to start the game, and he'll get a couple of drives. That's my expectation. I don't know Billy Napier. I'm just telling you like fan-to-fan talking right here. I expect for Mertz to get the first couple of drives. And depending on what happens on those first 2 drives, we'll see when we will see Lagway. Could we see Lagway at the end of the first quarter? Absolutely, if A&M's defense takes care of business. Absolutely. But what I think they're going to do, if he's cleared to go, Mertz be the guy, and then sporadically we see Lagway. And then during that sporadic view, like certain packages, certain plays, if he looks really good, then they're just going to roll the dice with him. That's what I expect. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. McKinley Polanski, what do you have for us?
Yes, I do have some more information around the SEC. Ray Tanner stepping down as South Carolina athletic director. Brian Kelly reveals LSU's defensive plans for Harold Perkins and Whit Weeks.
What are those plans?
He said Witt's played some Mike linebacker, Harold's played Will, he's played some Sam, so we've got great flexibility with both those guys. Kelly explained, so we just feel like it's important that the guys that are playing their best get on the field. Hugh Freeze aims to stack top 10 recruiting class at Auburn en route to national title contention. And Steve Spurrier on Kentucky's loss to South Carolina, he said it was embarrassing.
Yeah, it was a very embarrassing loss. There's no doubt about that. A couple things. Let's read through this. There's a lot of like back and forth going on the YouTube. You were telling me earlier the YouTube chat is a little bit.
It's a little different.
A little hostility.
Yeah.
So the typically very polite Texas fans that listen, Sandman, you've been a little testy this week. I don't know what the deal is. You're a little testy. Randy, who's always really nice, called us 8-4. Texas 8-4, and he's typically really nice. And I believe, if I remember correctly, Randy's wife or somebody in his family is an Aggie, so he roots for both programs. But guys, a little testy now. And look, A&M fans, I get why you're testy, because you've been waiting. You've been waiting for so long, right? Like, if you really think about it, we've been waiting since the Orange Bowl. We've been waiting longer, but like the Orange Bowl victory over North Carolina. You felt like we're finally that team that I thought we'd be when we hired Jimbo Fisher. And I've told you guys this many times who I thought we were going to be, but this is who I thought we were going to be. I thought when Jimbo took over, we were going to be at least the Mark Richt Georgia, right? maybe we don't win a national championship, but we're knocking on the door and we're winning 9, 10 games. That's who I thought we'd be. And when it took a couple years to get to the 9-1 season, I thought, all right. When I took the job thinking, I actually said it at the TexAgs preseason kickoff. I actually said it out loud, like, we're about to enter the golden era of Aggie athletics. And I thought it for all the great reasons. Baseball at that time, I was like, I thought Schloss was going to bring a national championship, and he came close, and now he's bye-bye. I thought Buzz was going to start delivering some awesome teams, and he has done that. And I thought football was going to freaking win a lot of games. So we've been waiting since January 2021 for this perennial run of 9, 10 win seasons, knocking on the door to the playoffs, making the playoff, being a consistent threat. Yet we're not there. And then you turn the page, and all of us, me included, expect it to be, hey, it'll be a seamless transition. We got the guy who knows us. We've got the roster, not that many, the guys that left, all the storylines that are true, by the way. And now you're going into a Florida, and I understand the hesitation of going all in on this team because you don't know the quarterback situation, even if healthy. The offense hasn't been good since LBJ. It's been a while since the offense has been really good. So you got that. You've got the injury situation. You've got a defense that you think is supposed to be elite, but you really haven't seen full eliteness in 4 quarters. You saw it for a half against Notre Dame, for the most of the half. And then they were able to run on them. And then, you saw elite defense against McNeese with the starters, but then you didn't really so you don't know what to think. So the first SEC test comes, and it's on the road where you haven't won forever. I get it. So that's why I'm with you all. Excuse here, excuse there, excuse everywhere. No more. Just do it. And I think they will. And I might be saying that because I'm crazy. And maybe I drink too much maroon Kool-Aid. And I'm okay with that. Because in my heart, I believe A&M's offensive line is better than Florida's. Not that they're going against each other, but I think that. I think A&M's defensive line is better than theirs. Quarterback room, I don't know what to expect from Lagway. Because there's a part of me that's first SEC game versus that defense, slow down. And then I also think, well, look what Connor did in his first SEC game against Ole Miss, right? So, at worst, that's what happens. Lagway has a nice game, gives them hope, and A&M finds a way to win. But at the end of the day, defense needs to lead the way. Le'Veon Moss, lead the charge offensively. And that's why at the beginning of the show, when I was giving you the 3 things I wanted to see, if I were to, let's see if you guys would make this bet. If Prize Picks had more than or less than, if I said to you all that you're going to get a non-offensive touchdown, would you take that and say they win with that scenario? Just knowing that alone, do you think A&M wins? Because I would say yes. Dave on the chat, Dave and Edmund, Nuño, we said that this offseason. We said no more talking. Let's be about it and go about it. Stick up the field and lose the freaking game of the season that we were favored at home at night. Buddy, I'm sorry to tell you, Connor Wigman didn't have a good game. He didn't have a good game. That is what it is, right? I hate to put it all on the young man, but he didn't have a good game. And Riley Leonard had a good enough game, right? But Connor didn't have a good game. But everybody, and I understand the why behind it, everybody who uses that as the reason, that's who Connor really is. I'm not allowing myself to say that. I'm not. I'm just not allowing myself to think that or say that because I think from the several games I've seen Connor play, he's been much better than what we saw. The Notre Dame loss to NIU, Northern Illinois, I think is really just kind of made everything worse. It's not even our team, guys. All right, let's hit a break. When we come back on TexAgs Live, what are you laughing about, long boy? What comment are you laughing at on the YouTube page? When we come back on TexAgs Live, probably another open segment, then the McKinney brothers, then Billy, all that and much, much more. Let's talk Bird Dog. Aggie owned and operated company creating access to hunting opportunities. So for the last few months I've been talking about, I want to go hunting, and I know the joke about snipe hunting. I get it. but I want to go hunting. Like I have not ever been on a hunt, and luckily Jonathan Lusk is partners with TexAgs, and he's like, dude, let's go on a hunt. So I'm going to go on a hunt with Jonathan. I'm going to learn because I don't know, right? Like, especially considering what we don't know. I don't want to make this a political commercial, but like, I just want to be able to know I can get some food if I need to get some food, guys, right? And that's why I want to, but you all have your own why, right? And that's what Bird Dog is doing such a great job of, is they're an Airbnb for hunters, right? They find you the place to go hunt. They set it all up. They've got relationships with all these landowners, and they're going to get more money for their ranches. So if you're a landowner, you should reach out to Bird Dog for sure. They have full service hunting experiences for corporate groups, friend groups. They handle all the logistics. So all you have to do is worry about the fellowship, right? Enjoy the fellowship. And they can elevate the experiences with add-ons like live music, and they know some people. Trust me, more on that later. Helicopter hunting, cooking classes, and much, much more. They're partnered with 60 other ranches. Brand new hunters, seasoned hunters, ranch consulting for service landowners to start up hunting operation or just optimize what they have going. Go to the website, Bird Dog It. That is IT, birddogit.com, birddogit.com. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. It is hour number 2. I got a text from Patrick who's like, well, when did he get hurt? And if he was hurt, why did he play against McNeese? Well, And the fact that he got I think he's basically asking, like, why? Like, why would we put him in that position? In my opinion, Conor Wigman had to play against McNeese, right? Because I don't want 2 weeks of this fan base complaining. Because what was going to happen is, and by the way, I love Marcel Reed. I love him. I think he's going to be a quality quarterback. I do. But had he balled out against McNeese, this place would have been insufferable. Is that the word to use there? Like, and I would love for Marcel, and I think he would have balled out, right? But we don't need a quarterback controversy until there's a quarterback controversy that needs to be had, right? So Conrad, in my opinion, again, this is all my opinion, was healthy enough to play. He played. He looked good. He got banged up a little bit. It just didn't feel right. He took a couple practices off. If I were a betting man, I would expect him to play this weekend. That's not insider information. That's just me just putting things together based on what I think. If he was able to play last week, I think he'll be able to play this week, unless it was a terrible re-aggravation. But he was 11-14 last week, and he, as OB pointed out, he had a couple drops.
And
right?
David, you've been around like the Texans. You cover the Texans, right? They
Yep.
put out injury reports every week. There's always people listed as questionable, stuff like that. So, I mean, Devon Achane, last night he was questionable, and he had himself a good game. So, just precautionary. You never know. But I mean, again,
Yeah.
it's just it. Yeah, I think people are losing their minds a little too much about it.
Well, look, I think he's legit questionable, but
Yes,
he's probably
yeah.
going to play.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they need to win this game. So I think their quarterback's going to play. That is blind faith. I don't have information to say, dude, he's for sure playing. I don't know that. I'm just telling you my opinion on the situation. He's going to play. And ideally, he plays because he is your starting quarterback. And Marcel Reed gets in there and plays too because they're up by so much. That would be ideal. All right, no more tap dancing. When we come back on TexAgs Live, the final countdown, the McKinney brothers next here. We'll get to your text messages, 979-693-1150. And we are back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studios. Time for the final countdown. The McKinney brothers are in studio. Steve, Seth, hello, friends. How are you guys?
Hello, doing great. How
Morning,
you doing?
Nuño.
So I feel like the vibe right now is kind of reminiscent of the fan base. Like we got to deal with another injury.
Yes, that's frustrating, man. But I mean, it's football, you know. My dad always said he wasn't surprised that we got hurt. He was surprised that we didn't get hurt more often. I mean, but we just, I think that we just, whoever it is that's going to step up. I'm sorry, I don't know who's going to go play for Tyreek, but you know, that we got to have the depth, and I think that is it's not the current coach's fault. That's the previous. If there's any kind of drop down, so we just have to build the depth, and we have to be able to recruit that depth because it's football. That's how it is.
I mean, it's unfortunate that it happens to be a position we were coming in thin already to the season.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, we were concerned about cornerback and depth there before the season started, and then you lose one of your starters, and now it's kind of like, okay, we don't even know what we have behind him technically yet. So I guess if anything, it's good that it's happening now because these guys will get a chance to play early and you know, develop and get better as the season progresses, and then, you know, hopefully we got some talent back there, but if not, we definitely have a chance to improve as the season goes.
Well, I mean, and it's everything combined together, right, to bring the mood. They haven't won on the road forever. They quarterback now is, you know, TBD, who's going to be the quarterback, injuries in the defensive backfield. So it's just all of this where I felt really good. I still feel, maybe because I'm just an optimist, and Seth, I know you can be it too.
Cockeyed optimist.
Billy, hey, good to see you, buddy.
What time is it? Okay.
Shoeless Bill
we went and
Liucci.
did SEC Network.
Why are you without your shoes right now?
Because they were the laces were so tangled up on those shoes that matched this outfit, and I just rode over here with them in the car.
Laces out.
You
Billy.
can see them there, but I couldn't get. If we win this weekend, am I going to have to go shoeless every week? For this segment?
You got to wear socks.
I think so.
So anyway, the TV was the setting up there is screwed up, Nuño. So
where were you going though?
Humiliated
you were
me
on
on national television with SEC.
Oh, I was on that, like, I'm kind of at a point where I don't care.
Optimism. Yes,
I'm optimistic.
I'm optimistic still.
But I also don't care. I mean, I care about injuries, but like, just find a way to get it done. Let's move on.
Right.
That's where I'm at.
Well, I mean, that's what the great teams do. They have the depth and they have that ability to put a new guy out. Yes, there's going to be a drop down in talent, but the best teams get a guy in there and they just keep moving because that's football. That's how this deal goes. I mean, there's going to be injuries. Hopefully, we've got that depth and the guy can step up. I'll let
It'll be a
Billy
good test
whittle
of,
on that end of the stick on who's going to play.
It'll be a good test of leadership on the team. You know, when you have a couple of injuries and you're not at 100% and your quarterback's not at 100%, your other guys got to step up. You know, and that's where your veterans and your leaders on the team have their best games. So we'll see.
To me, that's the A&M defense you're talking about in the offensive line. Those two groups, look, defensively you should be fine. Losing Chappelle hurts. And I think that, I said this the other day, that's a long-term injury. They got to figure out how they're going to cover injuries because, you know, there are certain people that cover this team that try to kind of do it the right way and others that just don't care. So, you know, I'm giving that 1 week to get figured out because, like, Chappelle's got a longer-term situation. And, you know, my thing is,
You're a professional.
well, I don't care about that. Long-term, short-term, right? Chappelle's going to be out. Okay, he's not playing this weekend. You won't see him for a while. He probably is, you know, probably a year-long thing. So that's a bigger hit to this weekend's defense, maybe than it will be throughout the year. He's a really good player. He's a 3-year starter at corner. They loved what he was doing so much at nickel that he nobody was really expecting him to be a nickel when he came back. I don't even think he was. But he did such a good job of it that Elko loved him. And you got to remember, this is the negative and the positive. The negative is Mike Elko, and remember when he was here, how important that nickel was to his defense. And it really elevated a whole nother level when you put Antonio Johnson in there his freshman year. But by the same token, he turned guys like Capers-Smith, Deshaun Capers-Smith, and Ronnie Elam into pretty good nickels. And then he went and got guys that never sniffed an NFL or really didn't play a lot here in Charles Oliver. And then he had a few guys, Devin Morris, that played well at that nickel spot that we were like, well, where did that guy come from? We didn't think. And they ended up doing well in his scheme there. So I do think someone else can. This week, that someone else is Jaden Hill. And frankly, I think he's gotten off to a slower start in the first couple weeks against Notre Dame and even against McNeese. And now he's playing against his old team. And I think they'll go at him and test him. They know his weaknesses. They know about him. So long term, I think they'll figure it out. Maybe it's Jaden Hill and he starts playing well. But this Saturday, I think that's a pretty damn big blow. And that's the one we know you're going to be without. Trey Jones, but I like their depth at safety. That's a short-term injury. I'd fully expect him back for Bowling Green. But that injury, we're going to talk a lot about quarterback, I'm sure. That injury is the one that immediately when I look at it and go, that's going to affect this football team this week. And Chappelle was that big a piece of it. Now, what you said, Steve, the defense and the O-line, I think, need to step up and say, let's go. Grown-ass men's game.
Yeah.
SEC, in the swamp, against a talented, you're not going to out-talent this team, and go in there and say, this is a man's game today.
Yeah.
And I think those big men on both lines of scrimmage are going to be who has to win it.
No.
And that secondary that we think, and I believe is greatly improved, they're going to have to step up because I think the plan for Florida is going to be test that run defense, but what they really want to do is no one's throwing it down the field on these guys. Let's see if we can.
Yep. Well, I think defensively, the good thing is defense travels. Being able to hear the snap count. I don't know if Mertz is playing or Lagway or if they're both going to play.
I would bet both.
Yeah, it sounds like both of them probably play. And having a freshman quarterback in there, my guess is that you're not going to get a lot of hard counts and change ups because you're not going to try to overwhelm him too much mentally. If your defense starts to get timed up on those snap counts and can get off the ball a little bit, especially on third down, man, you talk about putting a freshman quarterback that, is very athletic and maybe hard to sack, but you're talking about putting a kid like that, where his head's spinning 100 miles an hour trying to get out of the pocket and try to make plays with his legs. We could definitely make some plays, get some sacks because we haven't had any this year.
Yeah.
Billy, I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I did.
0.
Yeah. Technically one, but
They gave us
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Oh, they gave it to him good.
I think they did. I think they did.
And then offensively, I would really like what I saw from the offensive line last week, and I didn't dislike what I saw from them against Notre Dame. I thought they blocked pretty well against Notre Dame also, but I thought they took another step forward last week in just their efficiency with double teams and the way their technique you could see was really starting to come together. So I like the way the offensive line's progressing. I think this could be a great opportunity for us to go down there and run the football on these guys.
I think speaking of the offensive line, I think it was the first long run of the game against McNeese, and I don't care if it's McNeese, whatever, but their technique was. I was like, man, that looked really sharp.
Yeah,
like the way
first play.
Was it the first play? It might have been the first
play.
They
did a little pin and pull, and
but it might have been the second one because
the 31-yarder.
Yeah, because Basantis went up the field to the second level. And I was just loving the way that he was reacting to a linebacker that it should have been a lot quicker than he was, and he was able to react very athletically and get on him. And I was like, man, that's great. You just love to see that, even against a lesser team, just the footwork and things like that. But they're getting coached up, is what I'm saying. I think
you can tell
everything that's going on over there is great.
But they won't have. This will be a much bigger challenge. I mean, the defensive tackles at Florida are pretty large.
430 or what? That's ridiculous.
Pretty
man.
large humans. I would venture to say your best probably play to run the football. I mean, you got to run the ball inside some. But I mean, I'm blocking down on these guys. I'm pulling. I'm getting outside. I'm trying to get off tackle. This is where I see us running the football.
Yeah, either that or just plan on just neutralizing that guy. Don't waste two guys on him because you're really not going to move him.
Seth, what would y'all do if you had to block a guy fourth. Let's say you're the guard, you're the center going into this
who's
game,
pulling?
and you've got to block this guy that's 430.
You stalemate. I mean,
Yeah.
a stalemate's a
Seriously,
win.
yeah,
on
you're not
guys
trying
like
to
That's like a Vince
pancake this guy.
Wilfork
Yeah.
thing. Where,
Cover them up. Don't let them get penetration. Let the other guys win and move the guys off the ball because you're not going to move 350, 400-pound guys.
And honestly, you're blocking down on him. And you're just freaking taking his outside leg out and crabbing him. I mean, if you're the guard trying to block down.
sounds like me at Kempner High School. 175 trying to block
Crab blocking.
defensive ends.
Get on his knees, Liucci.
Yeah, that was a big crab block. Don't let me catch you downfield like slipping though on a downfield block when you're not looking.
You're a cheap shot
Yeah,
guy.
I would get you.
That's just highlight reel right there.
No,
Rodney Harrison was the biggest cheap shot guy. And,
is he really?
Oh my goodness, he would pick guys off the
Like
pile.
you would pick linemen off.
Like you'd be just near the pile and just come
Well,
out of
you
left
knew
field.
going into those games, guys like him, you had to watch for.
Oh
him.
yeah, for real.
Who's the dirtiest player y'all played against?
As far as that kind of thing, he was.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like he would pick you off a pile in a heartbeat.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
He wouldn't even
slimy.
think twice about it.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely safeties are the ones you got to keep an eye on.
Really?
I don't know why.
Like in the trenches, it's not that bad.
Oh, we're too tired. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just football, man.
You're not going to get too dirty with a guy you got to go against the entire game because that guy could get dirty back with you.
Yeah.
But the safeties are like, I'm going to take a shot at this guy. I'm not going to see him the rest of the game, you know. You got to watch
And
them.
and y'all's big asses aren't going to be able to catch him
No,
downfield.
we're not going to be able to
Right.
retaliate.
He knows he got you. There's nothing. There's literally nothing you can do about it. It's like,
So Billy, we touched on it at 9:20, but let's kind of go back to the Connor situation. Reset for the audience that doesn't know. He's questionable for this game.
Yeah.
The way you wrote it on the boards was the very definition of questionable.
Yeah, I mean, they say questionable to put them questionable. And I don't know, can we get an injury report, David?
Yeah, we can get one.
I'd like to get one.
Staff, can you print that out for us, please?
Questionable, by definition, by their thing, is 50-50. And
We may have one out of
And I think he's the definition of that. I think he's a 50-50 guy. And, he's missed a lot of practice time.
I'll find it. Go
He's
ahead.
missed a lot of practice. He hurt that shoulder. He hurt a shoulder, and it's a, not to go into too much detail, but it would be what would be considered a mild shoulder injury. So not. Hopefully, you guys know how that goes, though. If you don't know if that's completely. Johnny had a shoulder injury. His second year here, suffered in that game against Auburn. Remember, and he had to come out, and it was like a one. He fact checked me. It was like a 1.5 or a 2 grade separation. I think it was a 1.5.
Those are rough.
And he came back in that game. I remember seeing him on the sideline just literally screaming as he threw passes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one thing people don't get about Johnny is how hurt he was his second year when he played.
Yeah.
Still finished top 5 in the Heisman. It's okay, Nuño. We can do this during break.
Okay,
It's a little
my
bit.
fault.
The laminated pages are getting
A little glossy for you?
so. Anyway, that injury, like you just don't know. So he didn't miss a game, but he played hurt the entire year.
Billy, and if I may,
Yeah.
because I had an
You've had a shoulder.
I've had that
I
exact
think I have
injury.
too when I tried to bench press with you.
But I will say that it is very painful. It does feel every time you get hit on it, every time you try to throw, like it feels like somebody's stabbing a knife into your joint there.
Yeah.
And it's like that for the first couple of weeks at least. I mean, I remember it still bothering me for probably a 6-week period.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it starts to get better, but you still feel it for like 6 weeks. I was having to get a shot of, I think, like Xylocaine right in the joint before every game just to numb it. I don't know if you can do that as a quarterback, but I mean, if you're
I'm
able
sure
to,
there's you gotta.
I mean, I'm sure they're doing whatever they can to give him comfort, but that's literally the only thing you can do to kind of numb that pain because it is bad.
Yeah.
I can't imagine trying to throw downfield and stuff if it's a bad sprain.
So I think he hurt it. I believe, because he didn't take a lot of big hits in that Notre Dame game, but I think it happened on the goal line against Notre Dame, early fourth quarter on that sneak. Actually, I ran into one of those big D linemen.
Either you took a shot right on it, or you fell on it and got crushed.
Yeah, and so I haven't seen that replay, but so missed practice time last week, was able to go, threw the ball pretty well. You know, you wouldn't have thought.
I thought he did a really good job.
He did good. Took a big hit on his last pass.
Did he throw any deep balls, though? I can't recall.
Yeah, he threw not deep, but he threw down the field a couple times.
I can't remember
30 yards down the field.
Everything he did was effective and sharp.
Yeah,
much better than Notre Dame. Much better.
He looked good. I thought he looked good. I wouldn't sit there and go, oh, he looks great. It's McNeese, but I thought he looked good. I'm throwing the ball. But missed time last week, missed time this week. They did. Here's the deal. Here's what you need to factor in. Well, it was an SEC game. Never mind. They didn't have to do an injury report last week. This week, he's missing practice time. They put him on the report. I think you need to take that very seriously. It would be really easy to leave him off if you felt good about him playing. I think that's a wake up tomorrow. How does that shoulder feel type of thing. Marcel Reed has gotten a lot of work this week. He got some work last week. He got a lot of work this week. If Connor can go, that's your guy. And you go out there and then like Steve, like you said, if he takes a hit and that thing, or if it's hurting him too bad to throw, I think the too bad to throw thing, you wouldn't play.
Right, yes.
But if
it alters your offense and the things that you're able to call, then I think.
But if it's a he's okay thing, then it might be like, you could be one hit away. Yeah, go try.
That's what I would anticipate seeing.
I anticipate the same.
They're going to try to get, and he's going to want to play.
Yeah,
and he's going to try to go. He's going to want to go play. He's going to try to play, and then if it's so bad that it is affecting offense, that's when you make.
Well, let's just pretend that it feels the same as it did last week. I'm okay with that because he did an effective job last week.
Yeah,
and if it got worse, that's a different story.
But again, that's against McNeese State.
Yeah,
what if we get into a situation
and things like that
where he's having to throw the ball downfield,
right?
And he's not able to do that.
I got you.
I
understand. I mean,
that's
if
when they have
that's
to make
the
that
case,
decision.
then yes, I agree. He doesn't need to play.
Billy, do you think Colin comes in with two different types of plays in mind based on this situation?
By the way, what if it's not his thrown shoulder?
Yeah, I mean that's true. We're just assuming that.
I'll check that during the break. But what if it's but either way, it is to the point that they put him on this list as questionable. He's missed practice time each of the last 2 weeks. It's going to be a Saturday, in my opinion. It's going to be a Saturday decision. And Marcel Reed has gotten a lot of work now. He played 2.5 quarters the other day. He's gotten a lot of work practicing with the ones now. So if that's what it has to be, that's what it's going to be. And you're going to have Marcel Reed versus potentially Derek Lagway with both teams, absolutely needing a win. Now, it's a must-win for Billy Napier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's certainly not a must-win for Mike Elko. I'm sure they both want it equally as bad, but it is a must-win for Napier. But for this season, guys, I think this is a potentially, lose it, and it's a disastrous loss for this team this season, because then you start going, man, are we in a rebuild?
Yep.
Win it, and I would say you're 50% through the turning point of the season, which is Florida and Arkansas.
Yeah.
But to me, that's the turning point. You got to win both. And
to answer your question, though, it's not beyond offensive coordinator's capabilities to come in with two different plans with two different quarterbacks, because he knows what each of them does well and what each of them does not do well.
They're probably both doing that.
Yeah.
For different reasons, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's hit a break here. We'll come back. I want to ask about the offensive line and, of course, get you ready for this Florida matchup. Lewis Engineering time. They're a machine shop located in Marshall, Texas, and they want to be your premier metal fabrication supplier. They've been around since 1961. Lewis Engineering has supplied the defense, aerospace, automotive, and oil field industries with quality metals. They've been doing it for a long, long time. Doug Lewis took over. He's a class of 2004, fourth-generation Aggie to own and operate Lewis Engineering. A few of their services include CNC machining, stamping, assembly welding, plating, painting, salt spray testing. Lewis Engineering is the top certified company who takes quality and on-time delivery seriously. They have a high volume production as well, close to tolerance projects. They invite you to outsource machining to a company that has many Fortune 500 companies that have trusted them for over 63 years. I've talked to Doug a few times, great guy. You'll want to call him for a quote right now, 903-938-6754. Again, that is 903-938-6754, or visit them online at lewisengineeringco.com. That is lewisengineeringco.com. Here we go. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. It is hour number 3, the final countdown. Billy, Steve, and Seth here in studio. Guys, before the season, we had a couple areas that we wanted to see better, okay? Special teams, defensive backs, and offensive line. I feel so far all 3 of those are trending in the right direction. Let's start with the offensive line of what you've seen, Seth.
Yeah, that has been a very pleasant surprise, and one that you got to give those guys on the field and Coach Cushing a lot of credit for changing, what was perceived as a very big negative into something that is honestly looking like a positive moving forward, which is great. Are they there yet? No, but are they doing a good enough job and a job that they should be happy about? Yes, and no, I think they can be great. The talent that they have over there is really good. Reed Adams has been great coming in. I mean, I'm coming in transfer-wise, you're just like blown away by the kid. Basantis has done a really good job at guard. And Foley, right? That's his name at center. Coley, there we go. And he's done well. So I'm really impressed with the way things are progressing.
By the way, Seth.
Oh, don't even, Billy. Just because I said Foley, Coley, whatever, dude. It's like I got way too many names. It's your job to know those.
By the way, Seth.
What?
Great job at your Hall of Fame induction the other night. See that? Guy gets completely.
I'm used to being ridiculed. I'm not. I can't
Was that really where you were going to go?
I can't take these compliments.
I was going to say he gave a great speech, Steve. I don't know if you watched it.
No, I didn't get a chance to see it.
They provided us a little ammo there, Peroni and I, but it was a great speech. I thought everybody did a good job, but I thought, the old roommate killed it, and you weren't there to see it as his brother.
Oh, all right, come on now.
What up? Sorry.
I'm sorry I was at my son's football game. So I love you, bro, but not more than my son.
How many are going to play this year?
8 more. 8 more.
They're not going to the playoffs? I guess you
I will never miss a game.
I kind of agree with you there.
It's all right, Steve.
I would fly to Alaska.
I did a good job.
To watch a scrimmage.
I'm with you. I did a good job of filling your place.
All right, well, I appreciate you, brother.
In a
I was there Saturday, though. Me and Hunter
That's right.
were there on Saturday.
That's right.
So we gave him the
little recruiting
thumbs up.
trip.
Yeah, he saw him. And I got to talk to Adam Cushing.
Oh, nice.
Speaking of segue, that's a segue. Perfect.
Offensive line-wise, like Seth said, I think they did improve and show some real improvement there this last week. Of course, Cushing is not satisfied with where they're at, which is good because I had to remind him. I said, look, I'm looking at it based on the standard of what I saw last year compared to this year, and it's a noticeable improvement. You got some veteran guys. You got guys that have played some ball now. You don't have a freshman starting, which is nice. I can't even remember the last time I could say that.
That feels good.
Wow,
so
that's a good point.
you got some veteran guys that have played some football playing together. However, this is the first time this group has gone on the road in a very loud environment, and they're going to have to deal with crowd noise. They're going to have to be able to communicate through the crowd noise. See how we do with that. Handling that aspect of it will be their next big challenge to see where we're at as an offensive line.
Well, I'll tell you this. I think, and here's the thing, whereas Notre Dame's strength defensively, like in the front seven was up the middle, I would say outside, you've got this 400,000 pounder, but where Florida is really dangerous is on the outside with guys like, Shamar James, the linebacker, but he's a real rangy guy. A&M recruited him. Tyreek Sapp and George Gums, those edge rushers, that to me is those are the guys that can wreak havoc. And so this, to me, will be the biggest test in 3 games for the tackles, Zune and Crownover. And I feel like I'm watching Crownover get better.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I don't know what y'all see there, but this is the game they'll be put to the test.
No doubt.
And I don't know. You got to be at the ready in case you need to say, okay, Reed Adams, you need to play tackle. Dewberry, would have been maybe Naboo. Now, Dewberry, you're going in at guard. I'm saying those 2 guys have to hold up.
Yeah.
Zune and Crownover.
And that's tough.
Zune's got a ton of experience. He's been there, done that. He just keeps getting better, I believe.
Very consistent.
But both of them will be put to a test. And for Crownover, ittle be the biggest test he's had in his starting career.
And that's the challenge, right? Going on the road when it's loud.
Yeah.
If you're out there at tackle, if you're not on point with the snap count, man, you get even a half a step behind, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm anxious to see is how well we adjust to the noise. And are we getting off the ball on the count at tackle?
I'll be very interested because I know that we have that pre-snap routine, the clapping and all that. I just hope that all translates on the road too.
And I'm still baffled at 40, almost 49 years old. I'm still baffled how these guys are able to hear a clap in that crowd noise.
Yeah.
Like my whole career
I've
in the
never-
NFL, we played with a silent count. You know, and you still see them do it in the NFL. Center's head comes up, boom, we go. And then you get these guys in college where it's louder than the NFL half the time, and they're going on that.
It's
How
shocking.
far are we talking about from you to Seth, right?
Yeah, how are you
Basically.
hearing that? If your head's down, your helmet's on, your ears are that way. How are you hearing
Well, yeah,
that?
because I remember even at
Evidently, Steve, they can hear it.
Apparently they can.
I love it.
Otherwise, I don't know what every team.
I
in
just
college
don't
football
understand
is doing.
how.
It's very interesting. I don't know if it's a timing deal. They hear one clap, they hear what I don't know how it all works. But I know even at home games, we'd be in the gun sometimes, and it would be like a loud occasion, and you're at the center just straining to hear it because the last thing you want is a false snap.
And
to
you're
center.
notoriously deaf anyway.
Well, nowadays, I mean,
Too much earwax.
I couldn't hear a count if I had to these days. But yeah, as a kid, maybe,
Like,
maybe their ears
it
are
is
better.
interesting, the whole clap routine. I mean, I get the guard tapping, I get
Yeah.
all that stuff, but the clap is very interesting.
I would love for you guys to ask some offensive linemen because I'm curious
Yeah.
as to how they're able to time that up. Can they actually hear the clap, or are they going off something else? Like, what are we
Well,
doing?
if they're not, then why are you doing the clap?
I don't know.
I guess maybe just for the center.
No, I mean, or to put something out there for the DBs, receivers, or whatever to just fool somebody, get them to show something.
Yeah.
We will ask that at the next press conference with an offensive lineman. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with Freak of the Week and the Sleeper of the Week. Right now, we're talking Costa Vida. Go check them out in South College Station. Obviously, you can get the food there at Kyle Field. It's fantastic. But if you're around town and you're looking for fresh Mex done the right way, you need to stop by Costa Vida. It is fresh Mex. It's not Tex-Mex. They do it their own way. Great ingredients where every ingredient does matter in the dishes that they serve. Holly's there. She's a great Aggie, and she brought this vision to College Station because she wanted to have something that was awesome and that's something that she could see grow, and it's grown here in South College Station. We like to get the quesadillas, but there's a lot of other options. You can get the shrimp and taco mango salsa. You can get the chips in the case. You can get the sweet pork quesadillas. You can get the raspberry chipotle chicken salad. I love the tortilla soup. You can get the quesadillas. You name it. It is the place to go in South College Station. Go check them out. It is 4501 Mills Park Circle in College Station. Aggie owner-operated Costa Vida, 4501 Mills Park Circle in College Station. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Time for the Freak of the Week. Let's start off with Steve this week. Who's your Freak of the Week?
It's the Freak of the Week.
I didn't know if we were going to do it.
Not my fault.
Gabe never forgot.
Oh, man.
I'm going to go with little Terry Bussey this week,
Nice.
Billy.
Oh, all right. If they can do that,
They got to get him involved more.
oh, I agree with that, and they will. Yeah. I'm fully convinced of that. You don't. Yes, they will. But to me, I keep looking at that Arkansas game. I'm like, you might need to win that one. 38-34. No, but I'm just saying, like, I can see the Jabri Barber, Terry Bussey thing just kind of ramping up until then.
Okay. So you think he's more of a
Billy, you're
better
not
sleeper
next.
pick?
Don't say
No, I think
Better
I think it's a good one because I think he touched the ball. What was it, once or twice Saturday, and it was once against Notre Dame. So yeah, I mean, I think very quickly, maybe this week you start seeing this guy touch the ball.
I'd love to see 10
5,
plus.
6 times.
That's all I'm asking for.
I need 10
5 or
plus.
6.
I need 10 plus.
10 plus.
Jeez, Seth.
I need a lot. All right.
The problem is there's only so much, and I know people hate hearing this, and you guys understand this better to a degree. Like when a guy is playing 1A football, and he comes and he's not a spring guy, and he gets there in the summer, and he works for 2 weeks at corner, and then he shifts to receiver.
Yeah.
There's only so much. You have to kind of soft serve it each week a little more, but people don't seem to realize. Like,
Just dreaming.
Well, you Seth and everybody else, right? Get him the ball 10 times. Okay, well, what can he go out there and run that 10 of your 70 plays, if you're lucky in today's college football, if 10 of your 70 plays are going to him?
I meant touches like throw, run, whatever.
I know.
That's like 5 throws and 5 runs. That's not that hard. I'm not saying you're like ID and I'm like, this is only for.
I mean, we have receivers that don't get 5, targets.
Anias wasn't getting that many his senior year.
You know what? I'll take it back. Let's just get him 2.
Okay. 5. I'm at 5.
I'm going next, Billy.
Okay,
all right, I'm
go
going Nick Scourt, and I think he's going to have a great game. Going to tee off and on this guy, and he'll have a great opportunity to do that. And so hopefully, no matter who's back there for them, that he's just. I mean, I can't wait. So hopefully he gets his second sack, and we can move on from that.
I want to go Shamar Stewart out there back in his home state. Same thing you're talking about.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is push him over to you and pretend like you picked both defensive ends. So I am going to pick.
That's your way of getting 2.
Yeah.
Good play. Very good play.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, that was good.
Since he picked 2,
Since Seth picked 2, I am going to pick. I need Bryce Anderson to have a big game. Bryce is a veteran. He had a great offseason. He's bought into Elko. He's a very high-profile recruit.
It's a name we haven't heard called a lot.
I know.
And maybe that's a good
sleeper.
thing. Maybe that's a good thing.
But he's not a sleeper, and I thought about that, but he's not because he is a really good player. And I think in a game like this against Mertz, who you can't let get going as a veteran, you got to keep him. His last outing against Miami was a bad one. You got to keep him in that mode. And against, if it's Lagway, like those safeties need to have a big game. Brooks and Anderson. And I think Anderson is going to be my freak of the week. I think he makes a couple big plays defensively.
Time for the Sleeper of the Week, presented by The Sleep Station. Go see Jared McLeod and ask about the Tempur-Pedic or Purple mattress in the Specs parking lot at Texas and Harvey, in front of the Lowe's at William D. Fitch and Highway 6. The website, thesleepstation.com. Seth, your Sleeper of the Week.
I'm going to go with Hill, right? That's who's coming in, yeah. And so I think that he's got to step it up and be the next guy up, and plus he's going back, right? I think it's going to be a great game for him, and hopefully he lives up to the potential, and that's my sleeper.
Well, I think in that same vein, I'm gonna stick with guys returning back to their home school and pick Scooby Williams. I know he's listed as questionable, but if he can play through it, you know that he's going to be he's going to be looking.
It would take a lot. It would have to be a bad injury for him.
Well, they called him
what I'm
out.
thinking.
Those Florida players.
They called both of them out.
Jaden Hill and Scooby, they said they told their running back, if you see him on the field, either one of them on the field, run at them because they can't tackle. Mm-hmm. That's what a Florida player said. Like, look, like, I don't know as a competitive athlete how you let that crap fly.
No way.
And so you don't, right?
He did kind of say it jokingly, but I think there was a little truth to it. Like he was laughing when he said it.
Yeah.
But
That's not how it works. You're looking for any kind of slight.
We're going to put it in print on the board.
Shamar James.
We're taking it out of context.
Yes, exactly.
And you know what, Shamar James? If I'm an A&M O lineman,
I'm running at you.
This is what I want this team to be like. I don't want them to, and they're not. I don't want them to be like Shador, Sanders,
That's
Shiloh,
nonsense.
where they're yapping before the kickoff and it's this false bravado.
Yeah.
I want this team to be more like what I saw from Nebraska last week, which I heard multiple of their players say, like, okay, Travis Hunter talked to me like that. He's talking to a dog. Like, he doesn't know. He's going to find out. And they found out. And they said after the game, by the second quarter, he stopped talking. Like, and another Nebraska player I heard say something similar. Like, yeah, it was just, you knew the mindset by hearing them talk. And I want to see, like, a team at Texas A&M where if I'm a Florida player and Shamar James and I say something about Steve McKinney and Seth McKinney, I say something about Jaden Hill and Scooby, right? That's fine. Those two guys need to raise up and play, and Torian York should take that personally, and that whole secondary and that whole that's fine. But I want the O-line. I want someone on that O-line to go up to them and say, "Hey, I got you today."
Yeah.
And go out there and kick the ever-living you-know-what and go after Shamar James. Clean football, but go after him. And that's when you start having a real culture of winning.
I'll
So
tell
I
you
hope
what
something like that's going on in that locker room.
I'll tell you, I saw it against, even in the McNeese game.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there. I love where I sit as an offensive lineman. You watch the end zone copy. But you just see, you're like, I wasn't eyeballing what was happening with these two players, but then out of the corner of my eye, I just see it. And they both dump like safeties or linebackers. And I'm like, I love it, man. That's great. I think that's what you need, and you love to see that kind of thing.
Yeah, I do too. My sleeper, you know what? I'm going to go sleeper of the week for me is going to be, I would love for it to be a receiver. I'm not ready to go there yet. I think it needs somebody in that receiving core has to have a really good game or they're not going to win.
Yeah.
I guess I go sleeper of the week. I want to even say, like, hey, if it's Marcel Reed, like if he has to play, I'm confident he can play well. There's going to be growing pains, guys. I know people don't think that you saw him go up and down against Oak State in the bowl game, but there will be growing pains, just like there would be for Lagway. That's why it's tough for Napier to not go on this proven commodity that guided them last year, and he was nowhere near their biggest problem. He wasn't a problem for them. I'm going to go with, on defense, on offense, Amari Daniels. Playing against
another Florida
team, Florida kid. He ran really hard last year against Miami.
Yes, he did.
And I think he got shook there when he had that fumble. And I think it took him out of it mentally. But he came out like early in that game, I'm going, damn, this kid has something to prove. And he ran well last week, and the coaches have been really happy with his progress and development.
Yep.
He's my sleeper. I still think Le'Veon Moss is the go-to guy.
Yeah.
But Amari Daniels can have
aren't they both Florida kids?
No, Moss is
Louisiana kid. Okay. All right, we'll come back with our Pick 6 presented by Prize Picks. Right now, Milliken Reserve time. I could see these three guys here going to volunteer at the farm there at Milliken Reserve. That's on September 20th from 8 to 10. Day at Play, September 21st. That's for the kids. Trail running with the Lone Star Trail Runners. That's on September 21st, 7 to 9. Volunteer at the farm again. So back-to-back days of volunteer at the farm. So they could have multiple days there, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on September the 21st. When you go to Milliken Reserve, you can go hiking, you can go biking, canoeing, kayaking, equestrian trails, evening yoga, the summer camps, the music festivals, and the farmer market tours. They are a farm-to-table community in College Station. They got homes, they got trails, they got wide open spaces with a mission to build a healthy community around nature. Learn more at millikenreserve.com. That website is millikenreserve.com. We're back on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. We're about to do our Pick 6 presented by Prize Picks here on the final countdown. Remember, if we go a little bit long, you can continue watching us on the YouTube channel and on TexAgs.com, but make sure you keep it with Louie right after. All right, sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5 there on Prize Picks. You don't even have to win to receive the $50 bonus. Go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get that guaranteed $50 once you play those $5 lineups. We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. McKinley Polanski's got the games for us.
Yes, I do. Number 20, Arizona, is traveling to number 14, Kansas State. They're playing today at 7 p.m. at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. It will be streamed on Fox, and Kansas State is favored by 7.5 points.
Who wants to take this?
Little Wildcat on Wildcat there. I'll tell you what, Kansas State's one of the tougher places to play, believe it or not. They're a blue-collar, just a hard-nosed, tough fan base and football team. And when you go into that stadium, they're right on top of you, and it's just, I don't know, there's something about it, man.
It's tough.
It's tough. Give me Kansas State to cover.
Yeah, I don't know much about Arizona, so I'm going to go with Kansas State as well.
You going K-State? I'm going – Nuño, can you tell me who Kansas State's head coach is?
The guy who interviewed here last year. Why am I forgetting his name at the moment?
Jed Fish?
Kansas State is not Jed
No,
Fish.
I'm saying it. The guy at Kansas State did not interview here. I meant did
Jed
you know
Fish
who-
went.
His name got floated around a little bit.
I'm saying
on the
who was
boards.
that?
Leopold.
No.
Leipold.
No, he's on
That's
Kansas.
Kansas.
That's Kansas?
Kleiman.
Kleiman, yeah.
I love Kleiman.
But wasn't his name mentioned?
But Jed Fish, I was seeing if you knew that Jed Fish was
Yeah.
no longer there.
Yeah, I did know that.
So he's at Washington.
Yep.
New coach at Arizona. I believe that they're going to go up there and get beat by K-State. I like Arizona's quarterback. I do. I love Avery Johnson, the K-State quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is a straight up playmaker. I would love to have that guy running any college football team as a sophomore. I think he's going to be really good. So I like them at home to win that one.
Big number.
It is a big number, man.
It's not that big. It's not that big.
7.5?
Yeah.
It's a decent number.
Because you're about to see some real big numbers.
Because they barely beat Tulane. They barely beat Tulane.
Yeah, Tulane's sneaky
But
good,
Tulane's
though.
pretty good, yeah. And OU's going to find that out this weekend, I think. I'm going to actually go with Arizona to cover against Kansas State, but Kansas State to win.
McKinley?
Number 4, Alabama is traveling to Wisconsin. They're playing at 11 a.m. at Camp Randall Stadium. It will be streamed on Fox, and Alabama is favored to win by 15.5 points.
Oof.
Big number.
My goodness.
It's a big number, man, but I'm picking Alabama on this one.
They get right after last week against South Florida. Figure it out.
Yeah. Seth, you watched that game last week?
Yeah, the South Florida spent a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went back and watched film on that. Just based on that game
I actually
alone.
watched Bama pull away throughout that fourth
Yeah.
quarter.
I mean, they're
it was
better
impressive, but 3 quarters, it was certainly not.
It was not. Man, can you imagine how big a game this is for Wisconsin?
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be huge for them. 15.5. I think Alabama wins the game. I don't see them winning it by 15.5.
I'm with you.
Give me
This is not
Wisconsin.
Nick Saban. I think Kalen DeBoer is going to do a great job there, even this year. But I don't think it's blowout Bama City this weekend in a tough place to play. And like Steve said, this is going to be their Super Bowl.
McKinley?
Number 16, LSU is traveling to South Carolina. They are playing at 11 a.m. at Williams-Brice Stadium. It will be streamed on ABC, and LSU is favored by 6.5 points.
College game day.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good game, actually. South Carolina's pretty good.
Oh, I'm picking
Not
South
bad.
Carolina.
Y'all remember that they stunk it up in their first game.
They did.
We don't know how crappy Kentucky is, but they kicked Kentucky into the dirt. I question South Carolina's offense. They've got Rocket Sanders at running back, but I question their offense with the bespectacled quarterback. I don't know, man. But their defense looks good.
Defense looks really good.
And LSU doesn't really have a quality defense, so I think that South Carolina offense might look a little better. Give me the points. I'm going South Carolina to cover.
I think I saw
LSU to win that game by a field goal.
I feel good.
South Carolina has a way of getting up, and then right when everybody gets high on them,
dropping off.
they crap the bed.
Yeah.
They crap their pants.
Yeah.
They crap themselves.
But through
I
two-
want to say something else so bad. It sounds so much. It's so much more
It's not
emphatic.
a podcast.
They blank. Yeah, I know. They blank the bed. They pee the bed.
through 2
They
games,
piss down their leg.
LSU is ninth.
Keep
in the-
going. Keep
You're
going.
almost there, buddy.
LSU is ninth in the SEC in offense, And that's against, I think, a suspect USC defense because they haven't proven anything to me, and Nickel State. So the offense that was supposed to carry them this year hasn't really
What's
shown
their
up.
song? Ramstein? Isn't that their
Ramstein.
song? Isn't that where they're come out of the locker room song?
Ramstein.
What the heck is Ramstein?
Sandstorm, dude.
But isn't that the band that does it?
Ramstein.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I hope I'm right.
Luke's
I hope
looking
I'm
it
right.
up.
Who would
Oh,
even
man.
know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is Ramstein?
It's who? The what?
They're rude.
Not Ramstein.
Ramstein.
Here's
What?
Ramstein.
The Ramstein, sir.
Is that a group?
Yeah, Ramstein is like some Euro metal band.
But they have some random song.
It's like a European metal.
Where would you
Like
even
they
hear the
play
word
it-
that?
I think they're German. Yeah, they're German.
Yeah, they play at like these outdoor beer festivals.
German band from Berlin.
Yeah, I mean, how would you even know that? Did you just make that up? And it happens
No,
to be a
means he
band?
listens to Ramstein.
How would you
They used to
even
have
know
a
that?
they used to have a different name, the Temple Prayers.
It wasn't them.
They're a
I've
group
heard
that like
it. I know
people-
them as Ramstein.
That's a group where like people show up dressed like Vikings to the concerts
yes,
and they
yeah.
stomp around
Oh,
and
goodness.
I get it.
there's like
now.
100,000 people at a castle or something.
All right, moving on. I'm sorry.
Not at a football stadium. Sandstorm, LSU. I'm with you though. Their offense, dude, like they want to downplay Mike Denbrock and act like, oh, we had these two young bucks here. They're just waiting to be the coach, and Brian Kelly knows everything. And these young guys are just. Denbrock was just a placeholder. These guys are, that's LSU. They're as bad as we are sometimes. Their fans, everyone that covers them, where it's just like. They're just a little up, and they've won. They've got eternal scoreboard over most people because 3 national titles. But I keep saying, other than that Burrow year, which was, what would we trade for? This is not, what would we trade for one Burrow type
just one.
season? Like, what would you say? We will take this on the field over a 20-year span if we could have. Maybe that's what we've done, and we're just. This has been the last 20, and it's coming.
We did it for a Big 12 championship.
Yeah, we traded.
We're in that.
But for me, take A&M out of it. I mean, that when it comes from me or us, LSU fans, and Texas fans do the same thing. They just shoot back. It's not. You guys are measuring yourselves against Bama and Georgia, and Ohio State or whoever. Since A&M joined the SEC. LSU hasn't finished a season with less than 3 losses in every year but one. Every year they have at least 3. If they lose to South Carolina Saturday night, Nuño, tomorrow night, I think they'll lose at least 4 this year.
I agree with you.
Well, I
You
hope it
lose the
happens.
Heisman Trophy winner, 2 first-round receivers, and then you try to downplay losing your OC. I just think it's going to look a lot different.
Good.
Did y'all
Polanski.
I
I have not picked yet, but
I have South Carolina.
I actually think LSU will cover. I'm going to pick them to win by 7.
disregard everything I said.
I heard everything you said, and then I just
acknowledge
disregarded
it.
Big
it.
I
Alan
acknowledge it.
Faneca guy over here.
Their whole Ramstein thing,
It did derail the
it
show.
really threw me off.
We still got some picks to do.
Number 24, Boston College, is traveling to number 6, Missouri. They're playing at 11:45 a.m. at Memorial Stadium. It will be streamed on SEC Network, and Missouri's favored by 15.5 points.
Again.
I'm picking BC
These
to cover.
freaking
I'm not picking
spreads.
BC to win.
Castellanos!
I'm not picking BC to win, but they're going to cover.
Castellanos.
Yeah, I don't.
How would you say his last name?
Castellanos.
I was thinking Missouri 10 to 14, but yeah, I can't get over that 15.
You got right up
to.
to 14 on it.
I think I could see a 14-point win. I think Missouri's that much better than Boston College. I don't know how bad Florida State is. How bad?
That's true.
They're pretty bad, so I wouldn't pump up BC too much when they're playing.
I'm
at
not
home.
pumping them up. I think they covered.
That's a big
I
spread.
do too. I like Bill O'Brien's like. Look,
He's good in
people
big
can
games.
say- but look, people can say what they want about Bill O'Brien. He had some success with the Texans.
He had a lot of success. He was
And-
a terrible GM.
Yeah, and he had success at Penn State,
Yeah.
coming off the all-time disaster of the end of the Paterno reign. So I think they'll go in there. They're not going to go play in front of 100,000. It'll be tough. Missouri's ready for this thing, but I think BC covers.
Me too.
Polanski.
Number
Oh,
9,
I'm scared.
Oregon is traveling to Oregon State. They are playing at 2:30 p.m. at Reser Stadium. It will be streamed on Fox, and Oregon is favored by 15.5 points.
What the? Where's
lot
all
of
these
15s.
15s coming from, man?
Holy Mary.
Week. Oof, I don't know.
I'll start off on this one. I don't. There's no way Oregon's going to cover 15.5 at Oregon State.
Rivalry game.
I do not. I can't.
What
see
do you
it
know about
happening.
Oregon State?
I know that
Other than they
they're.
lost their quarterback, their running backs at Miami, their best
conference.
receivers at Texas, their head coach is no longer there, and they don't have a conference.
They're in the Pac-2.
I got anything else?
Oh, the Pac-6, my friend.
Trent Bray, just in case.
It's a rivalry.
Where do you get in the
rivalry.
Pac-6?
He's their
We
head
had
coach.
4 additions
Pac-
yesterday. Wake up,
They
man.
did?
Wow. Fact check McKinney.
Yes.
Boom! Seth knew something I didn't.
Yeah.
in my
I don't
college.
know if you know this
Wow.
or not. I'm impressed.
I don't know if you heard. Been
had
away
not
for a
heard.
while.
I don't shine shoes no more.
That was not. I guess that didn't make the national news because I didn't hear about it.
It was not overwhelming, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm
No,
not.
they
I'm
had
not.
a whole day cycle.
Yeah,
Can you
yes.
name the teams, Seth?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. We had all of them are states, and 3 of them are cities. All right. Fresno State is one of them.
Did
San
you hear that
Diego
disaster?
State,
Yeah.
boom. Boise State, boom. And then we had Oregon State, Washington State, and Colorado State. Look at that.
Oh, is that
Good
right?
job.
I learned all that from
So they're the
me.
Pac-6.
Did you hear our disastrous segment on that?
Surviving.
No.
Because on the press release it said California State University, comma, Fresno.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, California State University?
So it took you guys a minute.
It took us 9.5 minutes to be
You and
honest.
who?
OB, of course.
I would have expected more out of OB. I feel like he would have known that. Like
No, he
Cal
was the one who-
State, Fresno. Can you name all the Cal States? It's like name all the colleges in California. Ready? Go.
I got to catch a flight.
20 of them.
Next.
Stanford, Cal State Fullerton, Cal Poly, Cal Davis, San Diego State,
Long Beach State.
California, San Diego, Long Beach State, Cal State Fullerton, Irvine, St. Mary's, Sacramento State, Loyola Marymount, San Jose State, Fresno State. I think I said those. UCSB,
Pepperdine.
Santa Clara, Pepperdine, and California Baptist, and Pacific.
Did you do USD?
Yeah.
I counted over 20.
Fact check me.
That's a lot.
Save us, please, McKinley.
Yes.
That was, I mean, that
Wait, I don't know if I'll pick.
Yeah,
would be the
no.
most impressive thing you've seen all day. I didn't. It's going to be more impressive than our pick.
I guess I'm going to go with Oregon.
The rivalry blowout.
The blowout in a
like it.
rivalry of a team that won both games by a field goal
At their place.
against Idaho and Boise.
Fine. Oregon State.
You got talked out of it already.
Oregon State.
We brought him back.
I don't know. That's a toss-up.
Brought him back to the safe space.
They're on the record books.
Oregon State. There we go.
I'm going to go wake up call Oregon.
That's what I did.
They wake up. They've been asleep so far through 2 games. They haven't been asleep. Boise has a hell of a running back. That dude's going to be a Heisman contender.
We need Phil Knight.
You watch his
we need
highlights?
Phil Knight to get frustrated. All right.
You know what?
What's he going to do?
You know what's interesting about
Give
Phil?
up on the
come
NIL.
You know what no one talks about Phil Knight in Oregon and why they're such a. It's obviously all the money they've got, but I've talked to some people like Phil Knight is not. He's not just. He could cut a $50 million check
sure.
and go buy everybody. He's not doing that. They're staying like in market, but at the top of the market. Like there are guys that Oregon has tapped brakes on, including Jonah Williams, who's at Texas, including guy they lost, I think, recently to LSU. Let's not forget people like, oh, Phil Knight's old. He's 80. Well, like, we see some people at 80 plus that have lost it. We see plenty that have not. Phil Knight is not in that group. Let's not forget, it's Phil Knight and his team. These guys have negotiated like Nike deals of how many cajillion dollars with Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods.
That's nice.
Like,
He's got Nike at his disposal
It's a total advantage
for the NIL.
that they've got that at their disposal.
Yeah.
Not just the money, but just the knowledge and expertise and kind of knowing how to do it. I think that's the thing I've been most behind the scenes impressed by with this regime over here is how involved it gets in terms of knowing, okay, the goal is to just go raise as much money as you can for NIL. But the whether you win or not is going to depend on how you spend that money. And how, by the way, how you don't spend that money. Because that'll get you killed too. We've seen that.
Polanski.
Last but not least, we have Texas A&M traveling to Florida. They're playing at 2:30 p.m. at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. It will be streamed on ABC, and Texas A&M is favored by 3 points.
There's no reason we shouldn't go down there and do what we need to do, win and cover this. That's who I'm picking, and that's who I'm sticking with. I think that we've got it in us. Let's pretend that Connor plays. I think that he's going to build on what he did against McNeese, which was good and effective and would have been good against Notre Dame still, the way he was timing them up and where he was putting the ball. Regardless, I think he's going to step up and do a good job for us if he plays.
I'm with you, bud. I'm going A&M. I think they win by more than 3. I think we're gonna go down there and look like a good veteran team that knows how to travel and win on the road, even though we haven't done it in over 1,000 days.
We haven't spoken about that briefly, that we left on Friday.
Since October 16th, 2021.
Since the last time
our last home
I
road
saw
victory.
the Aggies win.
But you know who was who was coaching for A&M the last time we
you
won?
don't appreciate that is sick.
No, I do. I like it.
Dude, I'm disgusted.
Elko was there coaching the last time we won a road game, and he's going to be there
Again.
Saturday when we win the next road
Let's
game,
do it.
Seth.
Okay.
I'm in. All right.
I would contend.
Seth's locked in.
Here we go.
I would contend you could also say Elko started the streak because they lost their last 2 road games there. Just kidding.
Great.
I just wanted to be,
They're gonna
I wanted to be a
Old
Debbie
negative
Downer.
Don't
No.
clip that.
Listen, here's the
nice
reality.
try.
Here's the reality. Mike Elko's 0-0 on the road.
Yes.
He's not 0-10. Okay. These football players, a lot of them are 0 on the road. You got a lot of new guys in the transfer portal that know nothing about a road losing streak. Mike Elko has tried since he's gotten here, him and his staff, to change the thinking, change the culture. He asked them in press conferences, can you guys stop bringing up last year so much? This is this year. That gave you a look into the mindset of like, I'm trying to change thought processes and a culture here.
Yeah.
This is a great chance to do that. I love that they're going up there today. They didn't go yesterday. I've always thought, and you guys have been there with me, that is the common denominator. The 1 year they won on the road, and no one could get through to Jimbo. And I would ask people this, closest to him. I'd mentioned it to him. He's the head coach. Maybe that's for Ross Bjork to step in. Say, hey, it's a money thing. But he truly believed in the Thursday thing. That's fine. I didn't. Most football people don't. That's why teams don't do it. That deal to me, the 1 year that they won on the road, they went and won at Tennessee. They won at Mississippi State. They won at Auburn. It was because it was COVID. So some would say, well, the road environments weren't as tough. It's 25%. No, I don't think it's that. I think it was because they couldn't go 2 days before.
Yep.
They flew in, they kicked a little ass, they flew home.
There we go.
And that's Elko's mindset this
how you do
weekend. And it's going to be their mindset whether it's 15 or 10 at quarterback. And I think if it's Connor, first of all, if it's Connor, it means he's good to go. And I think if it's him, A&M wins and covers. And I think we didn't do enough time today because we just don't want to go all the way in there yet. But if it's Marcel Reed, he's gotten a ton of practice the last 2 weeks. He played in a game. I think we're going to experience, if he's out there, you're going to see growing pains. It's not going to be smooth and free-flowing. And I think that'd be the same thing for Florida if they've got Lagway in there. But I think this is a game where the A&M defense steps up and they realize it's us today.
Yeah.
And the running game goes in the O-line, it's us today. If that line was at 3.5, I'd have a problem.
Yep.
I think A&M wins by a field goal, maybe 21-17, 20-17, 24-20. that type of range. I don't think these offenses are going to be able to really go up and down and light it up. If you tell me it's 100% Connor going and they wake up tomorrow morning, it's like he can go, maybe I like A&M in that 27-20 range.
Okay.
I like it.
That's going to do it. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. I'll do the post-game wrap there from Gainesville. See you mañana.